Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Groyper Report. Tonight, we have some groundbreaking news to share with you.
Welcome to the Groyper Report. Introducing the most racist men alive. They are shutting it down as we speak. Welcome to the Groyper Report. Sexist. Racist. Phobic this, phobic that. Terrorizing women across the country. Telling them to wear clothes. Saying all women are mid. Minorities fear them. The president has them on speed dial.
Guess what? Your body, my choice.
Brought to you by Frog Aura Maxing. Brought to you by Frog. GigaChat Central, yes, thank you for asking. They all must go. Welcome to the one and only. Defending the last white men on Earth. AtlasThugged and Josh Vandernord. This is the Groyper Report.
Welcome in to the We Hate Candace Owens fan club. This is our first inaugural episode of We Cannot Stand Candace Owens. What's another name for this club? Take Women's Rights Away Immediately fan club. The Repeal the 19th fan club. The Black Should Have Never Got the Vote. Yes, yeah, that one, yeah. Yes, We Hate Women. We Love Men. Good to see you. Yeah, right. I never heard the resume part. I need to start using that too. But good to see everybody. Glad to have you in here. Another edition, another episode of the Groyper Report here on Saturday night. We are the one network not afraid to say Christ is King. I am your host, AtlasThugged, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Kushner, reporting live from Jeffrey Epstein's basement. Because I'm losing weight, dude. Because I'm not gonna be chubby Jared Kushner anymore. I'll just be regular Jared Kushner.
We like regular Kushner. Josh is on mute, they say. I don't think you're muted. I can hear you just fine.
Hello?
This sounds good to me.
Josh V is quiet. Says smell. It's smelly balls though. Okay, hypocrite says too.
Is he good now?
I don't understand. What could I do? I mean, if you can hear me, it must be on your end.
I can hear you just fine. They said you're good now. Is there an echo? I feel like I hear an echo though.
Hold on. This is better. I had a fan on. Hello. Is there an echo?
I don't think so. Maybe it is just the fan.
Maybe it was. Because I'm at my parents' house and I'm in a room that gets no circulation. I tried to sneak the fan in, but okay. Well, I'll sweat through it, bro. Well, I'll lose the water weight.
Okay.
I can afford it.
It sounds okay to me. If you guys have any issues, please let me know. I'll try to adjust what I can, but it should be normal. I didn't change anything. I've never been on YouTube in a week. The fan's fine. Here's an Albanian and a Nord. Anyways, good to have you in here, man. What another crazy week of America First and Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. And let's just go ahead and start off right away with it. What was your takeaway from this week? What stood out to you most this week?
Well, obviously, we're still dealing with the fallout from the Andrew Wilson, Candace Owens debate. But obviously, the big story is this murdering bitch who killed her 3 kids and the support she's getting from other evil bitches is shocking. And dude, it's one of those things where it's like one of my just normie friends called me and was like, dude, liberal women are evil. And I'm like, you're almost there, man. You're almost there. Dude, female coworkers of mine who I'm like close, like they're, my work friends. I was like, dude, they need to like set this woman on fire. And they're like, no. Postpartum depression is real. It's crazy, bro. Like it's bananas. Yeah. So yeah, to me, this what's her name? Lindsay Clancy. Yeah. I say slit her wrist throat again and throw out a 3-story building. Well, yeah, it takes 2. All right.
That's crazy. Yeah, and Minecraft, right?
Of course. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and Minecraft must be a very just place with all the things that happens in Minecraft, actually.
Dude, that's good. I love Minecraft is the only place you find true justice.
Right, it's like the best place to be, actually.
Yeah.
It's in Minecraft.
No wonder it holds up all this time later.
Yeah, right. Well, I think this is probably the best way to reference it. I mean, this is what I said. Luckily, I don't have any, I don't have any friends. At least I don't think so. I don't have any friends that watch Candace Owens. But I think here's the way I would say it. I would frame this is that there could probably not have been a bigger gift in the aftermath of the debate than having Candace Owens a day later go, and here's why I think this clearly guilty woman who killed her 3 children's not guilty. It's like, I think for anybody who might even be on the fence about maybe all of this, I hope that they use that as a heuristic to go, maybe she's fucking crazy. Just maybe, there's a little bit of a chance in there. Now, when I said that earlier on stream too, I think that that's like, for many guys, I think maybe women it won't be unaffected, but I think for many men, that's going to be a very jarring thing to then hear and then go back to looking at the Charlie Kirk case and like not have that in the back of their minds. Like, because in what world can you say that the way she's covering and thinking about and analyzing the Charlie Kirk case is markedly different than the way that she's going to cover and talk about Lindsay Clancy? I think that's one and the same. And I think she's treating them the same way, which is taking the responsibility and accountability away from who should actually be getting it, and she's redirecting it to somewhere else that's ultimately like not beneficial. In the Clancy case, it's towards Big Pharma, and then for Kirk, it's towards Israel.
Well, and I love it. It's like she goes, well, clearly she's not at fault because they had her on a bunch of drugs. And I'm like, I looked at that list of drugs. I'm on one of them. I'm not exactly fighting the urge to kill. It's trazodone. It's for sleep. Your face, dude. That's crazy.
I'm like, guys,
listen, I'm trying to get off. Okay. I have a crap
pause.
schedule and I can't, yo, right now. Yeah. Let me put my hands on screen. But
Josh's camera's just like,
yeah. That's why the room is dark. I don't want any stray shots getting picked up.
Can't get in the mood and with the lights on.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on one second.
All right, we're good. Clear.
Pull up the Clancy video real quick. No reason. Just show it.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, dude. But yeah, like, what's funny about that case though, is it's like, so Candace Owens says she's clearly innocent and it's Big Pharma. It's these drugs they have. Okay, I admit, like, this drug cocktail is probably not what like all pregnant women get on, but the point is like most pregnant women are like, or people that have been pregnant are defending this because of postpartum depression, and I'm like, okay, did you strangle your kids one by one with a rope? Clearly, there's something wrong with this woman,
right?
And again, it's like, okay. You can blame the drugs, sure, but like clearly they had a specific effect on this woman. But to me, it's like I don't even care. I'm like debating women's issues with women.
Right.
This is, dude. Salem witch trials in Minecraft. I like what Frankie 303 said. He said MEIN craft. I like that.
Minecraft.
Yeah, that was good, dude. That was good.
Minecraft.
It could be in Minecraft.
Well, isn't it? I think it's just I think it's depressing, right? Like, I think
it's a bummer.
If we approach this issue from the very beginning, from the very front of it, it's like this is just depressing, dude. We're now, like, it's like basically we're beginning to see the opening consequences being roped in of year after year after year after year of men just being pathetic and letting women's behavior and patterns of behavior go entirely free with no real kind of accountability to it. Um, and I think it's not even just, I mean, the female component is a huge portion of it. In fact, I would say it's like 80 to 90% of the component of it. And then I think inside of there as well, you also got to look at the fact of algorithms and the psychosis element of it. Because if it were a story that happened somewhere, that'd be one thing. But what unites all of it, what's connecting everything, is the fact that all these women at once are like, they're building this like domino effect where this woman reacts to that woman wants to get views. So she engages with that female creator on TikTok. She reacts to her videos and it just like continues this compounding thing. Because if the social media thing wasn't there, what other reason would people have to be looking at the details of a 3-year-old case? I mean, almost 4 years at this
Right.
point. It's the
That
murder
was
happened.
what kind of shocked me is I thought this was
Yeah,
like I thought this happened recently. And it's like, oh, this
yeah,
is 23. And I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah. Well, I'd have to go and check what actually started it all, but I would place a lot of money that it would have to be. And good to see you. It would have to probably be one of these creators, one of these like girl creators, probably caught wind of the story, and then she probably thought like, the husband seems kind of weird in this, and then that probably got another like creator to react to
Mhm.
that, and then they see it, they're like, yeah, there is something weird here, isn't there? Where if they would have watched it without the first person's commentary and perspective, they maybe not would have came to the same conclusion. Maybe they would have thought it would have been normal, like not nothing. But it's like the continual expounding effect over and over and over again of this person reacting, and now you have all of them are like reacting to it in one very specific way. So I think you can't ignore the social media component. But it's also, I think, maybe the more obvious thing is it's largely almost specifically exclusively driven by women.
Mhm.
And so
To me, and this is something, it's not something, Nick did bring it up this week, but it's something he's said before, and I'm sure other people have said it too. But I'm sure we've all noticed that women are really into true crime. I mean, my mom's into it, my sisters are into it, and it's just like, oh, why are women into like Criminal Minds and all this stuff?
yeah.
And Nick said it best, I think, which is it fills this gossip-shaped hole that all women have, you know what I mean? Like, women love gossip, and this is just, like, the highest form of that, like,
Mhm.
so and so murdered their husband, so and so murdered their wife and kids, it I never thought about it that way, but it does make a ton of sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when you look at that and you compare it and you bring it back to like its biological like reasonings for it, it's like, well, men compete with men in the market, right? Uh, in what ways? Physically, intellectually, financially. But how do women compete? Like, how do women compete against other women, right? Not against men, but how like women compete against other women? Well, it's not with fisticuffs unless you're a black woman. It's it's with gossip. It's with reputation, social status. And so the gossiping thing is basically like that's the battlefield for women. Whereas you want to just make sure that you're the person not ever being talked about. And the target and the person who's falling is the subject matter of the gossip. But in terms of like how that would even apply in that scenario, I'm really like even unsure. I think it's just becoming something that I think we're going to be looking back on this moment for maybe a long time and going like, what even caused this, right? I think the easy answer, and I think the majoritively correct answer, is like women are just like retarded. They're social beings. It was a bunch of, it's a fast effect of a bunch of virtue signals at once. You combine the we're seeing something that the government's not, like I'm seeing something that no one else is not. So you get that urge of like, well, if I'm noticing it, if I'm seeing it, I should tell somebody else. I think there's a part of that going on. And then I think the sisterhood element's also a part of it, where they're all like, well, the purpose or even spending the time doing it is not because they want to see the husband go to prison. I think it's more so that they want to see, justice for the girl. Otherwise, why would she be raising almost $1 million? I mean, what was it, like 800 grand or something like that? Um, and it just shows you like how how little of anything they need that's actually tangible or credible to be making decisions. I think maybe that's maybe the most broad point that you could apply to other scenarios, which is look
Mm.
how they use other selfie videos, TikTok videos of women as like that is a objective thing. It's like they're not looking at a woman recording a selfie video as like that's her opinion. They're viewing it as this is another objective fact item about the case from this girl's video. And I
Mhm.
think that kind of tells it all about how women determine like what is credible and what's not credible, and how removed from our actual objective understanding of what makes something credible and factual, in the real world, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's something that maybe not all men, but like a real guy goes through in their life. Like I think like most young men go through this in their life at one point where they realize when you're dealing with of course a woman, like all men deal with women, but like you deal
Yeah.
with some minorities too. And it's like when you come to this realization, it's like these people are capable of holding two contradictory statements in their head at the same time and not realizing it.
Yeah.
That like how there can be an obvious flaw in everything they're saying and them just be totally unaware of it. And
Right.
pointing it out is like an attack on them.
Right. Because then what do they do afterwards? I would say what they do afterwards is like the worst part about it, because then they begin to try to rationalize to you why they're not contradictory. They start arguing with
Mhm.
like with reason and logic. And I think when you find somebody doing that, it's just like, I mean, where else do you go from there? I mean, this brings me to like a broader thing, which I think applies to like more than just this case alone.
You don't
Oh,
seem
huge,
to
Mitch.
understand. Earth isn't yours.
Let's make it bigger. It's so small.
Mitch sent $5.
Happy birthday, Josh. You're gay. Birthday. Your friends Garrett, Zach, Rick, and Dave. All
This is for Josh.
Hell yeah,
reaction.
dude.
My name is Josh, and you're gay. Let's get it.
He reminds me of that one guy
Oh
from
my
Jackass.
gosh, gay
I forget his
Josh.
name.
Yeah, big gay Josh is my big gay boss. Turning 40 years old and gayer than ever. His dad tried to make him be straight. He said never, never, never.
Hey, W. Mitch.
Like Josh, 18 gay men super glued to his cross. Yeah, you fell into the hot tub.
Yo,
It was
yeah.
kinda gay, and it kinda
That's
made us
funny.
think you were gay in a lot of ways. You
This is goated, dude.
Tom at work. I hate Tom, but you don't really hate him. You say you hate Tom at work. I hate Tom. That's 'cause you wanna die.
Wait, is this Krispy Kreme?
Gay Josh with your big gay crotch. Yeah, you're such
Is it?
a big gay
It is.
man. You
Josh,
got a big gay
big gay
face.
crotch.
You got some big gay legs. You got some big old gay man hands. And what your wife don't know, well, it can't hurt. I got some new high heels and a mini skirt.
I'm sending this to my friend.
This song for my big gay
You have a friend named Josh?
my big gay
No, they
boss,
just-
gay Josh. Happy 40th
I get a lot of
birthday,
Josh
big gay
memes.
Josh.
I've never seen
Froggy
this
Fresh
one.
signing off. Peace.
That's funny. Hey,
That
well,
was
thank you,
good.
Mitch. Thank you for the 5. Much appreciated, brother. Great, beautiful moment on stream. And yeah, you said you were gonna come out today.
Yeah, I'm gay. You didn't know that?
Straight face.
I thought
No
you were
pause,
so smart.
dude.
I thought all the Groyper is supposed to be smart.
That is true. We should have known. I did know. I did know
Of
in the
course,
back
yeah,
of my
of
head. I
course.
did know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You didn't know now. I knew the whole time. I swear. No, Smelly says
Oh,
same.
man.
That was funny though. Thank
It
you,
is.
Mitch.
It is kind of funny. So like I'm 28 years old. I'm like, dang man, I probably do need to lock in and find some stupid woman to marry me. And I was like, dude, I'm in a small town, South Carolina. There's nobody here. And then all of a sudden, my sister drops some elite lore on me. She just goes, go to Target. That's where they were all hiding, bro. I had no idea.
Yeah.
They're all there.
And you
So
should
now
just
my
stand,
cup runneth over.
stand like with your arms crossed, like in one random aisle, and be like, "Hello, are you single?" Like
What I do, I'm like scurrying on all fours, but on the ceiling, like
some,
wrapping them up in rope and pulling them into the rafters. You know,
you know, some demonic creature. I have
Yeah.
heard that before. You know, Target. I mean, just going to the grocery stores. Just going to the grocery stores.
They're not at the food line I've been going to.
That's funny. Yeah, definitely don't do the gym. I would recommend against the gym too. I think that's just a bad option. I get a vibe that a lot of the girls who would be willing to or would maybe be open to that are probably also
Open to what?
To being approached. Because I think there's two types of women. I think the sidebar. I think there's two types of women in terms of like being approached by men, and I think there are some women that like have chosen like some locations where it's acceptable and some where it's not. Like I think some women, if you were there approached at the gym, they just get angry. They would like not even entertain it, even if it was maybe someone that they would perhaps be attracted to. Then they would just view it as a slight. And then I think some women are just not like that. Some women are just like not maybe picky, I guess, like that in that sense.
My go-to approach at the gym is I just like stand in front of them when they're on a machine and I just go, "Are you done?" Works every time, dude.
I like that one. Except they never use it on a woman. I just am always using it on this stupid Mexican who won't get off the bus.
You know who you are.
Yeah, dude, very true, actually. I don't do that anymore because last time I did something like that, though, I was nearly killed in a Planet Fitness parking lot.
Oh, yeah. I remember you told me that story.
Yeah. Wild story. It's going to be with me for the rest of my life. It's like that moment, where Nick talked about how, like, it became real and apparent to him that, like, dying is, like, a thing. Like, you're not going to be on this earth forever. And, like, for him, it's way more real because people hate him. Like, you're just, like, out in public. Like, people hate you.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those moments where I didn't really think about it, but it's like, yeah, at any moment, like in the city like this, like whether I'm driving or like whether it happens something like that, some stupid black person or something like that, it's like, I did realize it, like as I was hyperventilating at the gas station I drove to, but such is the way it is.
I just had a crazy thought. So you and me, we did Groyper Report last week, and I texted you on, I think, Tuesday after I had watched Nick's show on Monday, which is when we've got his first reaction to the Candace Owens debate. And I had texted you.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, we were like bar for bar on point with Nick in his predictions or like in his analysis of the debate.
Right.
So I was like, yo, we got that Nick level analysis. And I just thought about this. Nick has had someone try to kill him. You have had someone try to kill you. And I've had someone try to kill me. He didn't get.
Is that the trick?
Kind of got. Maybe. I mean, you got like assaulted in a parking lot. I've been shot at. He was like almost shot at. So I guess we're like true Groyper. We're like a high tier Groyper, dude.
With like the meta glasses, right? That instance. There's a couple instances with him, like and then the guy actually showed up to his home. Obviously,
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, I was thinking of the time when
meta glasses. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think it was just like a stream sniper. But he found them and he was wearing the meta glasses and was recording. He was with like Sneeko. It was like him, Sneeko, and like somebody else. It wasn't like he actually pulled a gun on him or anything, but it just showed them how lackadaisical their security was in areas like that, where a guy could really just run up with the meta glasses on and like stream bomb them essentially. But yeah, obviously he's had people try to kill him. And I would imagine it may continue, obviously the more that he stays where he is. And as now he's a known commodity now for most people. But yeah, it was like that weird moment with the guy like runs, they were like having dinner. I don't know if they were in New York or they were in DC area, but they're having dinner at like some kind of circle table. I remember the clip going around and the guy with meta glasses comes like, just like running up to him. And I don't know if they knew who it was or not. I can't remember. Off the top of my head, that happened like a few months. I mean, it happened when he was good with Sneeko.
Of course,
that lets you know like how long ago it was. Like,
I was thinking about the time the guy showed up to his house.
Yeah, very real. Yeah, guy died in his alleyway, right?
Yeah. Although we were attempted killed for different reasons.
Right. Yeah.
Because my brother stuck his ass out a car window at black people, and you because you told a Mexican dude to hurry up at the gym.
I don't even know what he was. He was a Sneeko type.
Oh, I got
His
you.
His friend was definitely black. It was two of them.
Oh, okay. What did you say to him? You were just like, hey, were they like on their phones or something?
No, the real thing that happened was I had went and taken a bench. I think I forgot my headphones or something. Maybe I went and got a drink. I can't remember. I went and did something. I walked away and then came back and they were taking the bench and I told them to fuck off. I told them, I was like, you need to get out of here. I'm like, I was just here.
Look
Like,
at you.
and I had something, my stuff was like laying near the bench too. And there's even other benches around as well. But they didn't like that at all.
So this guy, Dark Juice, he says never happened. I don't know who he's referring to, but like, dude, I remember the night that I got shot at. It was, I think I've told you the story before. It was me and my brother. We were driving on a big highway in our town at like 2 a.m. because I had just done some door dashing. These guys were honking at us. My brother stuck his ass out the window and then they pulled a gun and shot at us, missed, and drove off. But I remember that night so specifically because it was like March 2021. And I remember it because it was the day that the very first 3 episodes of season 1 of Invincible aired. It was the same day. And I watched them all. And I was like, this is a great show. And then I went out and door dashed with my brother. And then we got shot at.
So that's what makes the memories stick out because you can remember all the other things that happened that day.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. It's I don't know, dude. I'm just glad I'm not in the city anymore, wholeheartedly. Like I'm really glad I'm not in the city at all anymore. I can't do. I can't. Whoa!
Seem to understand.
Mitch again.
Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Mitch sent $5 me running past all the single baddies at Target so I can get to the Lego aisle first.
You're too slow.
Nice.
That's funny. I've seen so many videos of that guy, specifically the one that you shared. Also, thank you, Mitch. I appreciate the support. I've seen a few of those, and it's all the same guy. It's like the same dude who's like, he's doing the slow motion running. He's done so many of them. It's like, now you're an influencer because you could slow run good.
I appreciate the dedication.
Right? Which just goes to show
art.
you, like, if you have a specialty, like, go for it. Like, don't let people tell you no. You know, as dumb as that is, and as dumb as, like, I would never do anything like that. You never know, like, in this life, in the attention economy, like, what may be a winning ticket, a winning item, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So try everything, you know, and don't be afraid. And then you got something like that. But as somebody says, competing directly with Benny and Basil is bold. We are not, actually. We are not. We're two different strains, but the same thing. This is the heteronormative reaction show, and then the other one is the not that. No, I love Benny and Basil. Benny I've not gotten much of a chance to speak to, actually, but Basil I've had plenty of conversations with, and I'm in a few different group chats with him too. Great guy. Love him. And then Dark Juice says I was trolling. You guys got a good show. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. We appreciate that, sir.
We love you, Dark Juice.
Which, speaking of, I think we should actually start the show.
I was gonna. Hey, you know what we've been doing? Have we been? Okay, we started Groyper Report in October, so we're coming up on a year.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point we've earned a little bit of like personal privilege. You know, we can riff a little bit about getting mugged, getting shot at. You know,
yeah.
People,
what's relevant too?
People that come here to watch us also watch Nick Fuentes, so
true.
You know, they know what we're going to talk about.
Right.
But with that being said, let's get into it.
Right. There's a lot of things to really pull from, you know, this week. I think Tuesday was probably maybe the weakest day, actually, when I was going through and grabbing some clips here. But man, I mean, you're right. You're spot on. Monday was really his kind of overview of really breaking down everything he thought about the debate. I thought that was wonderful. I thought it was really, really good. I think we could maybe have one clip from Monday to cover that, because I don't know if it needs to be beaten. We've beaten that whole thing like a dead horse, like crazy.
Right.
So I think instead I'm going to go to a clip that I think has relevance from Monday that he might not have realized with the psychosis in the female component, where Nick talks about AOC and her birth control, which I think was a good clip. So I think we're going to start with that one. It's funny and a little bit spicy too, but here is that one. I'll switch to it now.
Clav fix AOC. Really appreciate
The
it.
denied sent $20. Do you think Clav can fix Ock?
Can Clav fix AOC? You know what's funny about AOC? Did anybody else notice this? She got off birth control and then she dumped her fiance. How about the timing? She says she's going to freeze her eggs, so she's got to get off birth control. I think this is how that works, right? I'm not the expert on female anatomy. I'm not the expert on that. Okay, so I don't know how that works, but she got off birth control. And then all of a sudden she said, I don't want to have sex with my fiance anymore. He's too much of a soy boy. Does that kind of not tell you everything? Is that not the red pill of all red pills? Because people say that women that are on birth control, they prefer men that have softer faces, softer features. They look more like women, more like nurturing and empathetic. Then they get off birth control and then they want a big rapist. They want a big rapist to get up in their grill. I'm just saying what their preferences are. Listen, I don't condone that. I'm not a woman. I'm a nice guy. I don't believe in that. But isn't that always how it works out? It's like women are on the pill and they want some Tom Holland. They get off the pill and then they want some absolute beast. Then they want some nasty, disgusting beast like Sam Hyde. Give me the 6'8" behemoth instead. This is what happens. Coincidence? AOC gets off the pill. I have to harvest my eggs. Wait a second. I don't want to have sex with you anymore. You're too gay. I don't want to have sex with this ginger. She goes, now she wants something else. Now she wants a straight up beast. She wants a nasty beast. So maybe Clav can fix her. Maybe she definitely, all these lib shits, I think they all have a little Clav thing going on.
Tallahassee Groyper sent $20.
Have any truer words been spoken? Like truth? Like, truth bomb? And the reason I bring that up is because what's funny is like the rest of the week, the show kind of really aimed at like the female component of the psychosis and the craziness of, the Lindsay Clancy stuff. But then actually takes direct aim at another thing that like is just lied about in society. And it's a thing that we're beginning to see is very quantifiable now too, which is you have a woman who's on birth control and she'll be with a certain guy for a period of time. And what ends up happening, and it's so brutal because what is the time a woman is most likely to come off of birth control? It's when like they get engaged or like they're getting married or they're getting more serious. And what ends up happening is the girl comes off birth control right into pregnancy, then right into postpartum. And then the whole time she hates her husband. She hates her husband because her feet hurts. She hates her husband because her back hurts. She hates her husband because he's not pregnant and she is. And then on top of it all, she's no longer attracted to the guy. And a lot of it is like the blinding of the pheromone receptors. I mean, we're talking about things like women like, literally can't control. It's like they're literally the way that they behave and what they are actually physically attracted to. That mirage fades and they see their husband is like, oh, hey, honey, did I earn my 6th goodest boy star? And they're like, get the fuck away from me, you fucking nerd loser. But it's the worst time because then it's like, it's right when they're getting serious. The guy's investing more resources. He's taking things more seriously. Happens more often than not. Now, you get lucky if it happens earlier and she gets off for another reason. But that's a brutal thing because then it just all collapses on the guy. It's like this idea of like the marriage and then like the life they have ahead of them. It all collapses because the woman no longer literally wants to be touched or intimate with you. And then the whole thing falls apart and then made even worse because if you end up having the kid, now you have this life where this woman who in her natural sense wants nothing to do with you. And you're playing from behind the entire time. It's one of these things it's kind of like a big mask over like how women behave. And like in that sense, it's like it just makes sense. Like the birth control is like wanting her to not have children. So it's blocking certain things that would lead her to be in a procreative relationship with somebody else. And when it comes off and she's actually wants to, and part of it is like also a little bit of slack. If you've been on it for so long and then you come off of it, your body's probably producing an extra amount of those hormones, making it even more likely that you want to go and, and jump and break a relationship for some random Chad you find at the bar.
I hadn't thought about this, but I had completely forgotten from this clip when I saw it live that he mentioned by name Tom Holland, that they want like a Tom Holland. And it kind of made me wonder. I was like, is Zendaya on birth control, dude? Can you imagine have you seen the new Spider-Man?
I'm not.
So there's a scene in it where, you know, like, have you seen the last one?
Nope.
Do you know any? So
Last
basically,
Spider-Man I saw had Tobey Maguire in it.
hell yeah, the best ones. But anyway,
Real.
some magic BS happened at the end of the last one, and everyone forgets who he is. So his girlfriend Zendaya has no memory, and he's like mourning the loss.
Yeah.
And then there's one scene where this hot young blonde girl is like, "Hey, we live in the same building," you know, like she's clearly like putting the moves on, and he's like, "Oh no, 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 no! I'm mourning my girl that doesn't like me anymore. This mulatto, you know, like." Like they put like, dude, the most like Swedish, like uber mensch woman you could ever like in, well, uber, I don't know, uber femme, I don't know what you call them, but you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
not Zendaya. And it makes you wonder like what's going to happen if they try to have a kid and then Zendaya snaps out of it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking me, like, I think Tom Holland it wouldn't matter. Tom Holland could just reach back in and find another girl. Like, I don't think it would really
That's true.
hit him much. And I think, isn't there like a leading like
But
thought?
you know he's a sensitive yearner. You know he is.
Oh yeah. Just from like if I'm judging him from interviews, I think most actors are probably sensitive, right? They're very emotional people. They're always exposing
Yeah.
themselves to emotions, making them feel emotions from other, characters they're reading about in a script. I think you have to be very strongly sensitive to emotion to even be a good actor. So it's both like probably a blessing and a curse. Uh, I'm more so concerned about like the average guy who may not even be aware that this is a phenomenon that happens, and then they end up just left wondering like
Yeah.
what the fuck just happened in the last couple of months. And so I think there's a point to be made there, which is like if you are a guy who has a girlfriend who's on birth control, you're basically you're gambling, right? And if you drag that girlfriend from birth control all the way into proposal, I think here's just a very basic piece of advice. Do not propose until she's off birth control and has been for a while, and your relationship either changes or doesn't. And I think that that's got to be something that if you're actually trying to help young men, that's got to be said. You can't ignore it because it's such a common phenomenon. Girls are on birth control for things like acne. It's like, so you don't know what you're really dealing with. And
Yeah.
you should know at all. For one, you should know if your girlfriend is on birth control or not, period. Just in general.
Hippocratic Oath says Josh needs to go full beast mode and skip the foids on pills. That'll be my next Target trip. I'm gonna go up to the next baddie I see and just, are you on birth control? It's relevant.
It is true. But it poses like an awkward situation because then it's like, well, if she comes off of it, then it's like, well, I mean, for one, you're going to be risking it. I mean, you shouldn't be anyways till you're married regardless. But I mean, I think that you should have the strength and discipline to not be conjugal with your wife or your girlfriend for long enough to determine like if your children are going to have a 2-parent household or if you're going to be talking to the lawyer about if you can keep maybe the hairs off the back of your dog before everything else is taken from you. I think that's like more than than enough to, put some effort behind that, especially if you're going to be messing with the rest of your life and what your children have to deal with too. But Nick's just hilarious. Yeah. They want a big rapist. They want a big rapist behemoth. And it's like, of course they do. And this is like another one of those, like, we just got to stop lying about like female behavior, what they want, what they're attracted to. Because it's just like, it leads so many young guys to these bad conclusions. Or they go their lives thinking like, I don't have to go. I can just be a fat pudgy guy, and she'll love me for like the way I am. And it's like, yeah, dude. Well, I mean, no one's gonna be there to comfort you when you're crying alone. It's the tears fall into your empty whiskey glass because she's done had 4 affairs, and she's told you the most violent things any human psyche could hear. Things like, I would never respected you. You can never. I mean, who wants that? I mean, who wants that in their life? Who wants to be dealing with that? So bite the bullet now. And if she won't listen to you, then fuck her. See ya. Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye, bitch. See you later. I'm like not dealing with that. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Take it from me. Take it from someone who's been not in that situation, but someone who has friends. Then I've watched it happen. Like I've seen it. Please take the time to care about yourself and your future, at least that little. And if you don't have the confidence to do that, you shouldn't be in a relationship anyways, because you're probably getting dog walked by your girlfriend regardless.
Heck yeah, man. Be all about your wife is an accessory It's a car, you know. Get the best
Right.
get the best one with low mileage.
Yeah. She's supposed to be your helpmate.
Yes.
If you
yes.
can't if you can't visualize your girlfriend or your wife as a helpmate, brother, you have a burden. You don't have a helpmate,
Yes.
you have a burden. You have grabbed stones and placed them in your bag for no reason.
Really? Dude.
I want life to be harder, actually.
So I'll tell you, because I know like you're married, Zeb's married, and some of the guys, like some of our regulars in the audience that like I know it's slightly personally, like I know some of these guys are married too. So let me just give you a little window into like the dating world right now. I can't tell you how many women, this is what they say, I want a guy who can cook. and this is, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten this.
She's on
where
birth
like
control.
I'll talk, yeah. I'll be talking to girls like I'm interested in, or like just female like acquaintances that I have, and they're like, "Oh, I'm dating this guy now, and he like cooks for me," and I'm like, that's something. And like, dude, I mean, I don't want to get like too off topic here, but like, cause I like cutting grass. That's like one of my simple pleasures in life. But I live in
Me
an
too,
apartment
actually.
building.
Yeah.
And I have this friend of mine who she has her own house. And I'm like, oh, just I'll cut your grass and you just like cook a meal for me every now and then. But she recently got like a serious boyfriend. And I was like, okay, well, I guess you'll have to start paying me now instead. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because you have a boyfriend. Like, it's not appropriate for me to be in your house with you alone. And she's like, well, I don't understand. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
no, we can't be doing that.
Yeah, they just don't get it. It shows you like just how much like they don't view things. Like we have two different minds. Like what the male mind sees and can perceive and what it's concerned about. Just some of that's just non-existent for women. It's like the threat. It's like the threat indication, right? It's like if something happens or like if there's like a threat anywhere, it's like men are like, moving, they're reacting to it. And women are like, da, 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 da. It's just like they're just in la la land somewhere. But yeah, I mean, this is why they shouldn't have had rights or agency granted to them in the first place, or at least recognized by law.
And that's one of those things. It's like I've got like buddies that fixate on specific things. Like I've got this one guy, he is like hardcore against the boomers. I would say you're like much harder on the women than anyone else I know. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it descriptively.
Yeah.
This Clancy Brown, whatever her name is, Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah.
It's got me like
Clancy
going
Brown,
full Atlas
dude.
mode. Yeah, it's got me going full Atlas mode where I'm like, bring the apron. I said this on me and Zeb show. And it was a joke, but now I'm full blown. This is what I'm running on: is take away the phones, give them a walkie-talkie that only calls the police and their husband. That's it. They can't handle it, bro.
I think that's beautiful. And you know who's gonna be standing in your way? A bunch of just
A bunch of
pathetic ass
guys.
men, dude. Yep, dude. It's just like I can't, dude. It's one of those like it's like one of those negative like loops where it's like because now it's not like the propaganda has only been going towards women. It's not like we've lived in a society where when men are around, they're like, okay, it's only the men here. Okay, let's be for real now. Like, no, it's like it's propaganda is going on both men and women, but the propaganda towards the men is like be a queer, right? Be a subhuman scum, who is a furry, and you tell women all your emotions. Like, how did that make you feel? And the guy's excited. He's like, okay, so I've been waiting for my therapy session this week because I've been waiting to talk to you, Jessica. And I needed to tell. It's like, dude, that you are so fucking gay. You're so fucking gay, dude. Like, you're so fucking gay, man. But like
You said Jessica, that's crazy.
But that's what we're up against, dude. Like, it's like these guys who have also been led to believe that like there's no consequences if they just like open themselves up and show the world that here's my rear end, come and take it, free real estate back here. Just come plug in what you want to. It's like, dude, no one, what? You can't come back from that. It's like, it's almost very similar to like the woman body count, right? Where it's like a female, no matter how good she is or how cleaned up she may be, she cannot leave that body count will always be a permanent thing, both because of what it does, in terms of the mentality of the man who wants to court her, but secondarily because there's an objective reality where like she physically has less ability to pair bond with you because of the previous actions she has made. So it's a legitimate thing to fear. Where for men, it's like, for one, if you were just like a former gay, like I feel for you because I think that's a very impossible thing to come back from. And two, it's like one of those ideas as well where it's like if a woman already gets into her head like this impression that you're going to get dog walked, how are you ever going to change that opinion to that woman? I think it's one of those things where it's like it's just going to stick with a woman, like an ick, and it's unfair as some of those icks may be. It's like you just have to acknowledge them. Like that's what it is. Like that's how women operate now. Which means if you are a man and you do want to have a family and you do want to not live through hell for the rest of your life, these are the things that you have to acknowledge and take into account. You can't go through willy-nilly and just expect that like that one time you cried because like, your dog was shot brutally by a black guy that she's going to care. And I would argue those are situations where it'd be okay. But you are taking a gamble by any moment as a male that you share or express emotion around a female. It doesn't matter to her. All that's happening, right? Because women don't think, they don't have agency. They're just reacting. They just exist. This is why I say women aren't people. They're just like, there's something between a woman and a man and a child, which is how God intended it, by the way. And you're basically gambling like that moment in time is not going to forever be something that changes the dynamic of how much she respects you, sexual access, and then all the things that consequent from there. Because like, are you really going to be able to raise your kids the best if like your wife is side-eyeing you from the room and never respecting you? No, of course not. So that's what to say, like, it's a very comprehensive thing that you have to concern about. And here's this. I mean, like, I get this, right? It's, with pressure, says, I'm effing done with all of it. And I think a lot of guys are right there with it, where they're just like, it's so psychologically raping to try to even begin to contend with what this modern iteration of dating in the world is, that you just go like, who cares? I'll just be celibate the rest of my life. That's easier. That's less of a burden on my life overall, less of a thing to spike my cortisol. That, you know what? I'm just going to go home and play RuneScape, and who fucking cares? And people are actually happier with that decision, and it's made easier by seeing how women behave daily on the timeline. It's brutal, dude. It's brutal. I wouldn't push for men to just like be celibate because they hate women. I actually push the opposite. I push them to just take the clear pill. Like, don't pretend. Don't treat love as like it's a Disney movie. Don't be a fucking idiot. But if you really want to be a man and you want to have children, you want to have a family, you just have to take the clear pill and go, okay, I guess I got to looks max. I guess I got to go all the way.
It's like when Nick says "why gig," and I remember it was somewhat recently. Someone called or super chatted in, and they were like bitching about how they just got broken up with. They're like 24 years old, and I just got out of a 3-year relationship, and she cheated, and he was like kind of weeping about it, and he was like, dude, you need to let that just flow off you. You need to be above such things.
Yeah.
But here's the most important part. Easier said than done, sure. But it is doable. But this is the real hard part, is when it's the opposite. When things are good, you kind of have to let that flow off you too.
Right.
You can't let that seep in, because that's what makes it hard when it breaks, when it inevitably gets difficult. I mean, relationships have always been hard work. The obstacles these days, it's infinitely worse.
Listen.
So you gotta be a beast, man. You gotta be like sociopathically just love your wife, but you gotta be above it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like what's even the best way to say it? Like, not being complacent, but it's in the mindset of like, yeah, we're not telling you like not to love your wife, but it is like, don't delude yourself with what the reality is that you still exist in, right? Like that reality still is like at any moment, for the most fickle of reasons, your wife may up and decide that you're no longer deserving of her or something like that. Which I think if you can just acknowledge that, I think you're never going to go head over heels and just start like, letting the gut hang out and, putting your feet on the table and saying, you know what, I can take a day off or something like this. It's like the moment you do that, it's like you're gambling, like you're just gambling. And I think if you're married, it's like you can just not take that gamble. And part of it is because like no one's going to have your back. No one in your family's going to have your back. They might, but it's not going to matter at all, because what matters is the way the court's going to hear about it, the way the court's going to proceed with it, and you have basically a 6% chance for it to fall in your favor. So, like, it's not worth the risk. Foulball Productions, though, shout out to Foulball. He says, women have a similar thing. I've noticed huge blind spots on how women are behaving towards me or other dudes, and other girls see it clear as day. I would imagine it does go both ways.
I didn't quite get that. I've noticed huge blind spots on how women are behaving towards me or other dudes, and other girls see it clear as day. I'm not sure what he mean. What does that mean?
So I'll give you an example. One of these happened to me when I was in orientation in college, and it went like this. I'm trying to get some smoothie at the RPAC. This is orientation before I actually went to college, or before I was a freshman. And no, it was like the first couple of days I was there. Actually, it was like the second day I was there on campus, and trying to get like this smoothie, going through like this orientation, this tour. We're all, all the freshmen are being, hyped up for their first week at college, and I'm confused because this girl's like, it's been so long, but she did something of the effect of like, she was like, I think this is, I think they made a mistake. I think this was your smoothie. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. That's not my fucking smoothie. I'm like, I didn't order that shit. And I'm sorry. I don't know why you thought that. And she was like, oh, okay. And then I got my smoothie, and then like I'm leaving. And then my buddy, who was like texting his friend but wasn't in line, he comes over and he's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, did you not get that girl's number? She was like, she was talking about you in line for like 2 minutes, dude. I was expecting you to get the number. You're the first one who was to get a number. And I was like, I just thought that we mixed up the smoothies. And he was like, bro, of course it wasn't your fucking smoothie. He's like, she was trying to like find a way to like talk to you. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, so we're like, I had the realization like 5 minutes later down the sidewalk, and I was like, oh no. I'm like, oh no, that she was. And then, from there, some of that behavior became a lot more apparent. But yeah, I think this is very true, that men are blind to some ways that females kind of have subconscious behavior, or behavioral kind of gives cues, if you will, that you can begin to pick up on. But yeah, definitely agree. And there's another one in here.
I have I have a similar story to that. It's kind of funny because like I was like wholesome Chungus autist in high school, you know what I mean? And I was working at a restaurant. Yeah, there was this one girl at this job I worked at, and we were at like they were throwing like a bonfire like on my coworkers, and she was like, "Oh, I want to go home, but like I rode here with somebody else. Are you leaving?" And I was like, yeah, probably. She's like, can you drop me off? I was like, okay. And so we were like hanging out a little bit at her house, and she was like, hey, like we were like in her living room. She's like, my dad's asleep in the other room, by the way. And I was like, oh, okay, I better leave then. I don't want to disturb you. And like I literally did, like I told that story to, like it was, they were asking me, it was like, so you and so. And I was like, yeah, what about it? And then I told the story. They're like, "Are you retarded?" I was like,
"Yeah."
And I thought about it. I was like, "Oh, I guess I am. I guess I totally am."
Right? Like you didn't pick up on it at all.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, dude. The same realization, except for me, it was like literally 3 minutes later as we're leaving the building, they're saying that, and I'm like, I'm not even joking you. For me, I turned around and I was like, "Is she still around? Is she still around?"
No,
I couldn't see her. So
you lost your window.
Yeah, it just ended.
That's funny.
Yeah. But
you should have gone back and like go wrong smoothie and bean her with it.
No, I did turn around for a second, but like they'd been gone for a minute,
Oh no.
Yeah, just one of those moments.
Wait a minute. She wasn't working there?
No, she was in line behind me. She was in line behind me, and so like I had a couple friends that too.
Funny.
Yeah,
it's
one of my really
smoothie,
good friends.
and you're like, That's not my smoothie.
Well, it wasn't even like I was mad. It wasn't even like I was mad. It was
I
just
know,
like,
it's just
I was
funny
just
thinking about it
confused,
like that.
you know, and I'm like the guy who's like, I'm not afraid even like to talk to girls either. So like when she's doing that, it's like I was like, no, I didn't order this. I was like, you could. I literally, I remember I pointed at her the Sharpie marker on the side of her cup, and I'm like, that's not mine. That's definitely not mine. I didn't order that. And it was just like, I don't think she was expecting me to just be so like, that definitely wasn't me. I was like, I appreciate it, but that's definitely not mine. And then like just moved on. And I think that probably was like, you know, she might have at that point been like, you know what? He's probably not interested in me. That's probably the vibe that I gave her was like, I just didn't I didn't care. I didn't have that typical like, oh, a girl's like talking to me reaction. I'm going to move on to this next one where we got to get another clip up on screen here soon.
Oh yeah.
But I have this one from JR. He says, Atlas, did you see that story about the stay-at-home dad demonstrating that his Navy wife had to go on a ship deployment? Demonstrating that his wife had to go on a ship deployment? No, I did not. But how backwards can it be? How backwards can it be that, you know, the husband's like, all right, guys, pray for me. Like, my wife's going overseas to go shoot and kill grown men. You know, like, it's like, dude, it's like, what, does that even deserve a comment? It's like, there's some people, and here's the thing, there's some people that are they're just gone. They're just lost to us. I think, you know, I'm somebody who I have a different opinion on things like universal salvation and stuff like that to kind of connect everything together. But I just think it's pretty obvious when, you know, when the message is dust your feet and move on. I think there is kind of an idea that like some people just won't get it and never will get it, and were never, maybe even perhaps not even intended to get it. Now that kind of touches into things like Calvinism. We'll leave the theology debates out of it. But I think the same thing, I think the same way politically. I think some people are just like, at a certain point, you just look at somebody and you just make that decision, which is like, this guy's never going to get it. Like, this guy's just not even worth the breath wasted on him. Now, if it's somebody you care about, maybe you make a bit more of a different effort. But, you know, some people like that, like that's so far gone. It's like, for one, even if he wasn't a stay-at-home dad, I'm not marrying a girl. I'm not marrying a barracks bunny. I'm not going to go marry a girl who's going to getting, you know, pipe laid in her in 10 different ways from 10 different guys from 10 different battalions. Like, that's ridiculous. And then two, it's like, to even say you're a stay-at-home dad, it's like, I think that guy doesn't even have a conscience. Because like, even if you didn't maybe be the most Christian, like growing, like parenting, maybe you didn't even have like the most, you know, base dad growing up, you got to go a long ways to find a dad who's not going to tell you as a man, as a son, that you have responsibilities and that you need to lead your house in a certain way. Like, so then I begin to think like, that guy may be so far gone that he was raised by two dyke lesbians who fix tires at some, you know, urban outfitters location. Who the fuck knows?
Mm-hmm.
But it's always worth the first effort. I think at some point though, you just see people like that and you're like, good luck, dude. Like, you're on your own, brother. Like, I'm not even bothered by it. Go on ahead, dude. Cause I ain't gonna stop you, dog.
I get what you're saying though, when you're like, dude, I don't even know if some people can be saved. Cause like, you know, of course I believe everyone has the ability to say, like, no one is beyond salvation. But when you think about a guy like that, it is like, for him to, it's like he is so far gone that if he even had this epiphany where he realized the error of his ways, it's not like he would then be fixed. You know what I mean? It's like his life is so out of whack that the realization of it would almost just make it even worse because he can't escape his reality.
Right.
So it's like he is like willingly trapped and not even knowing it, because to even begin to entertain the realization would be worse for him. It wouldn't be, but it would be.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm also of the mindset too that I think some gentlemen are well aware that they're only, I mean, it's the sneaky fucker, right? There's a specific term for it. It starts with a K. I can never remember what the actual term is, but it's the sneaky fucker syndrome. And this is a method of procreation from men, and it's been around for so long that like you literally they call it that. They call it the sneaky fucker. It has a nickname. And it's literally starts with a K. I cannot ever remember the name of the term. It's like some kind of long-winded term. Who cares? But I think that there's a lot of guys who know what the score is. They know that their only real way, without having to like really kind of recreate who they are, is to be a sneaky fucker. It's to basically lie to these women. You know, it's to lie about what your actual positions are. And I think some guys are actually okay with that, continuing that for perpetuity, because if that's how they've convinced themselves their only way to access it is by doing these things, these trials and tribulations, they'll continue to do it. And I mean, that just speaks to, I think, how sad and depraved the average guy is, that they would do anything for a crumb of puss or attention. It is sad. It is pathetic. And it's also, too, it's like, this shouldn't even need to be said, but I'll say it anyways. Like, you should not be deriving your self-worth from women. Like, look at these things. In Lindsay, Clancy, you're going to let those things determine if you value yourself, if you love yourself, if you're proud of who you are. What are you fucking doing? These people will follow Candace Owens into hell because it's girl boss power and vibes and energy and feelings, and because this one crazy witch bitch on TikTok who read a astral projection sign. It's just like, come on, dude. Like, we can all laugh at that's all fucking ridiculous. Your value is more than like what these women say it is, and it always has been. And never let that be a measurement of yourself. I think that's insane.
What did Nick referred to her as something this week? It was like a Shibun shamaness, and
Very true, dude.
I
I called her a howler monkey the other day, but Shibun shamaness is great.
Man, but he said that before. He's just like, bro, we're like regressing to these primitive, like pre-colonial African cultures where they like like all the men worshipped a like a witch priestess, you know.
Yeah.
That's what Candace Owens is. She's talking about communing with ice giants beyond in Agartha. I don't think her astral form would be allowed into Hyperborea, but you know, that's just me. That's how I know she's not astral projecting, because the Nords aren't there with spears or, I don't know, like energy weapons keeping her back in her body.
Well, you know what's crazy about this? I find often that people don't know about this. You know, the most often that black people have really bad psychedelic experiences.
I did not know this.
And you know why? Dude, you can find this all if you look up racist little elves in DMT.
The Clockwork Elves are racist.
I'm not even joking you. That's the majority of their
crazy.
experiences. It's like the elves like don't want them there. It's like they're like get the fuck out of here. You're not supposed to be here. So they have bad, like, hostile interactions with them. Yeah, so if you look up like racist little elves and like DMT, you can find some of these crazy stories, and a lot of them are similar. Whereas a lot of the white people's are similar, where they're kind of like being led around, they're being explained to, like, here's what's just going on. Where the black people are like, they're like, you smell like ape. Like, get out. You know, like, get out. It's like, you know, they're getting mad at them. And that was just crazy. I didn't have that realization until a few months ago, but I was reading into it. Crazy stories you can find about it, dude. It's literally hilarious. Like,
that's amazing.
Let me see. I'll put it up on screen. That might be worth
it is so funny. It's like when people talk about how I like rewatched a clip where Dean Withers was talking about how there's no evidence, you know, that the 2020 election was stolen. Well, they never looked into it. It's so funny whenever modern scientific study brushes up into like racial things, because it's so bad. Like the mirror test, you know, like this. There's something else, but I can't remember what it was now. And it was
the mirror test. Like they are like almost like entirely like 2 years behind, like white children.
When I read it, like I read the full thing, I was blown away. So what happened is they didn't even test by race. They tested in different countries. But of course they made note about, like, we tested in Sweden and everyone was white. We tested in like Zimbabwe and everyone was black. And they noticed that like white and Asian babies recognized, they would put a mark on their face. Like they put marker on their face and to see if the baby recognized it, like initially that it was on their face and not a different baby in the reflection. I think with like white and Asian babies, it was like 6 months.
Yeah.
It was under a year. I remember that. With Hispanics, it was like either a year or a year and 6 months. And with blacks, it was like age 3.
That's what I thought. They're like an entirely 2 years behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're and so I read the conclusion and I remember this, it stuck with me. It was the conclusion was, well, clearly this is not a valid form of testing for this type of IQ, like recognizing yourself. It doesn't work. It works on animals though.
Yeah. I see people saying the audio was echoing. I saw that. I changed it already. Hopefully it's not doing it anymore. Yeah. On the
Mine or
secondary
yours?
screen. Yeah, it's coming from my end because I have a video
Okay,
capture
okay.
and the guest cam. I just turned one of them off. Yeah, the mirror test is a crazy one. Like, there's a lot of these different kind of like tests and experiments you can see where there's like, these crazy disparities between the races, but nobody likes to talk about it. And the reason this was even on my head was because I saw this tweet not too long ago. I don't know who Ben Werman is, but it reminded me that I'd read about it. I think I even heard it initially from Joe Rogan, actually, which, funny enough, it makes sense. Like, they talk about the little elves all the time. But so this is him quoting about the. So somebody said, "I've never had a dream with a black person in it," and this is what they say. So he quoted that, and
They're not allowed.
Yeah, this is just crazy. So if you never heard of this, like take it for granted, or take it in. From Ben Werman, I don't know who he is, but he's got 130K followers. He's got a podcast or something, so I'd imagine he's staking some of his credibility on saying this. He says, "I've had conversations with a small handful of spiritually gifted people who have spent decades combined studying and practicing astral projection, and one of the consistencies they have shared with me, usually with a look around and lowering in volume to a whisper, is that black people do not exist beyond the third dimension. They are exclusively a 3D physical plane phenomenon." And it gets even weirder. Wait until you research internet threads of blacks sharing their experiences taking DMT. To summarize, they usually have a horrible time, as the machine elves are apparently incredibly racist and have a habit of ridiculing and throwing profanities at them until they leave. I am dead serious. Look up racist DMT elves, and we just did. What to do with this information? You will all have to decide for yourselves. Like I said, I'm only passing along what I've heard from people who are deep in the psi world. Certainly more research would be helpful before drawing any hard conclusions. I will say that it is, at the very least, statistically interesting that when you actually dig into all the large-scale psychic programs conducted throughout history, Project Stargate, Gate, etc., it's practically 100% white people who are exhibiting these abilities to astral travel as an interdimensional soul.
I want to get that. Do you remember Russell Targ? He was that guy who said like he worked for the CIA in specifically like a remote viewing program. I want to see his spread the catalog of agents that could remote view.
That would be cool to see. If were there any black ones?
Yeah.
Was there any non-white individual on there? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's like we conducted an operation, but our remote viewer, he was a DEI hire, so we didn't see into the future properly. We got all the. We were attacked by ice giants, the giants of Kandahar or whatever.
Instead, he's supposed to be like, it's like a friendly, but then they see it, he's a hostile. They're like, dude, shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah.
This is going bad.
That's funny.
I don't know. Were you in Gate? Were you ever in Gate?
In Gate?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I was. And I do catch myself going down the rabbit hole on some of these sometimes.
What is
selected.
Gate?
Gifted and talented education.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's a few different variations of it, but Gate was the biggest one. I think Tag was the other major one. Talented and Gifted, it just flipped it around. And I've seen some crazy stories like going down the rabbit hole of like why people were selected for that. And I don't like buy it or believe it. I just look at it sometimes and go, damn, that'd be crazy if that's true. And one of them is like all of the people who are in these programs have an identical mole on their forearm, their left forearm specifically, and it's like right around the mid spot. And I have one where all these photos were showing they had one, and that like was tripping me out too. The only reason I even began to take it seriously at all was because Homath put a bunch of effort into talking about it. He made a few threads about it. And that guy basically built a book on women, analytically about it. And then the reason he started it was because he was also in one of these programs, which makes sense. He's like a super autist. So I started some of that and I'm like, I wonder if maybe it's not like this, gifted astral projection or whatever, but I wonder if it is something as simple as like they got an early process started of inoculating people with something maybe like wrong to like take the best and brightest and like maybe waste their time, I guess, or something like that, or maybe put them in bad directions. Maybe it's not like there's like a demon king waiting in the astral realm, but maybe it's like they did it to like try to destroy some of the top crop. I don't know.
Get them focused on all the wrong stuff, get
something
them
like that,
be a musician or something like.
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of weird tests they made us do. Like I can remember that very clearly, and almost like nobody I talked to has much memory of it either, which makes it even more terrifying. But for anybody who was in these programs will remember the ridiculous amount of tests they made us do, like Rorschach test and audio test and all these crazy ass things. I mean, I spent more time doing that than I think even learning anything when I was in that program. But I do think about it when I see those posts, and I'm like, if I sit and try hard enough, can I like make my table float? Like, like is there some ability down there somewhere?
They made you feel like X-Men.
Yeah, that's basically kind of what it was pulling you away from your class. Cause I think for me, it was like a half day. It was like, so I would get pulled from I would be with my home period and then they'd pull me for the rest of the day and I would be gone. I would just be with this one teacher with 3 other people.
Did you go to public school?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I went to private. Is
Oh, you
Josh
did?
on his phone?
I actually want to see the
No.
comments here because I think I would imagine some of these people who are in chat have been part of this.
I'm seeing a couple people say stuff about Gate.
Want to hear the racist memes from the elves? Yeah, right. You want like the Farsight Institute remote viewers? Frankie says same. Oh, Smiley says my sister was. She goes on about it. That's crazy. Frankie says the Gate stuff freaks me out because I remember everything really well except a lot of that period in childhood. That I'm glad that you said that because same. I can remember being in the classroom. I can remember the test. I can remember going down to the basement. But then it's like, what did we do? I can't. It's like I can remember playing like Apples to Apples one time. And like that's like it. It's like I can't remember like almost anything else. And it was a while ago, but that's still like 5th and 6th grade, right? 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and I can't remember anything. I can remember who I was in there with, but that's like basic. Doesn't it sound crazy? Doesn't it not just like sound crazy to even like say? And the program only lasted what, like a few years before they got rid of it.
I'm trying to remember.
They're saying you're so close up. Are you on your phone?
Am I recording this on my phone? No.
I should sit here so Josh.
See, I'm. The problem is I'm at my parents' house and I don't have my typical kind of lighting setup, so I'm relying on my computer for lighting, and I feel like how does this look? I look like
I feel like you're normal with me when you're sitting there.
Like this?
Yeah.
I just feel like I look really dark, at least from my perspective. Can y'all hear me all right? Can y'all see me all right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You do look kind of dark. I would like. I mean, especially compared to me. I have like fucking floodlights on in here, dude.
I have to get my galaxy going on. I have to. Hey, Clockwork Elves, light up the room, please.
You do, dude. I feel. You see how the one light behind me right there is laying on the. It's just laying down on the couch.
Oh, okay. I kind of do. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Daughter came into the room the other day. We were like laughing, having a good time. Not even joking, you dude. She was in here for like 7 seconds. It had to have been. It was less than 10 for sure. No joke. Walks right over to my. Because I have like this little astronaut. You can see the galaxy.
Yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
But I have an astronaut that you can't see. He's off. No, you can see him. right there.
Yeah. Okay, I do.
And he's the other skylight there. Not even joking. She grabs it, looks at it, throws it into the pile of wires where all my wires go. So it drug everything down. So all the cords kind of like in this one spot where they're kind of loose, she threw it at that pile. And so anything that was connected in that spot got yanked on and it pulled it down. And I'm like, so my one LED strip is completely off the wall now. It's like, it's so angry.
I noticed
nothing I can do about it.
Like, I noticed that there's like these beams, these like specific dots of light, and usually they kind of, they're more prevalent today.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but well, I guess that's what it is. But
it's that astronaut one just decides randomly, like if it's going to turn. So it's always going to have that one on, but it's like at random if the green lasers turn on. I don't know what the setting is. I think there's something broke with it, to be honest. So some days it turns on, and then some days it doesn't turn on at all. And it just chills.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love you, smelly balls. We got it, dude.
We love you, smelly, dude. We all love smelly.
You know what I was thinking? We got to do, or I should probably wait till we're off the air to pitch this, but like, I was thinking like a hangout session, but not streamed, where like that way, the people in chat that are kind of anxious about getting, seen and whatnot, that way we can just like hang out. You know what I mean? That could be a fun thing. And
just do it in Discord. Probably the easiest
there you
way
go.
to do it. Discord, or like I know Telegram has like the voice chat, the video calls now. We could.
There you go.
Totally could.
We'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, I do get it. I mean, like I'm like not ever thinking about that anymore. Like I'm on camera all the time. Like,
right.
I have a couple of videos that have like 500,000 views. It's like I don't know who's even seen me now at this point or whatever. So I forget that for some people it's still like a first step to turn the camera on. To point at themselves and like talk and then not feel like they're an idiot. Like, trust me, I was there many years ago. Trust me, I know the feeling very well. And trust me, I also know the feeling of like when you feels like 100 people don't like you and, they're like, this is the worst video I've ever seen. And then you realize they're all tranny loving, queers. And you're like, it didn't matter in the first place.
Which is so funny. Cause like in the like year and a half that I've been doing this with you and Zeb, whenever we would do member streams, I liked Frank the Tank from before, with me and Zeb, but I've never not been miserable doing it, unless it was on Groyper Report. I remember we had one guy, he was just like some random that showed up once, and Smelly Balls one time, and that was the only time I enjoyed like hanging out with the member streams people. On Zeb's show, and I love you, Zeb, but like the audience, like if you go back and watch those, you can see like it's just Zeb and them talking, and I'm like this. I am checked out.
It's very true, and it's very funny, and because I think you at some point had told me something behind, off air. And I remember watching one of the OTO streams a few months back. I could just see it, dude. I'm like staring at your face the whole time. Like not even paying attention to the stream. This is just you.
I'm like,
bro, exactly that, dude. And then I realized, and I went back and I like scrubbed through a little bit, and I'm like, wait a minute. Josh hasn't said a word for the last 38 minutes. It's like literally like 38 minutes. You had not said a word. I'm like scrubbing through to look for when your mouth opens, and then I did, and you're like, you like yawned, and like it wasn't even you saying anything. So I'm like, okay, keep going, and like you were checked out. I thought it was funny.
This is what happens. This is what happens, especially towards the end of Outside the Overton. Was Zeb would get like, he'd be like, you know what I mean, and I'd be like, huh?
Yes.
And then I'd be like, okay, so here's my perspective, and this would be like, well, hold that thought, and then he goes,
dude,
all right,
I've been holding, dude. That's all I've been doing is holding.
Yeah.
I can't hang on. Like I gotta let go.
Not a problem. I've had plenty of practice.
That's funny. And now we're mortal enemies, and so
what?
It's me and Josh versus Zeb and everyone else now.
Zeb's my boy. Zeb is an OG. He might be a retarded OG,
right?
But we love Zeb Boykin.
Yeah, I'm mortal enemies with Zeb's audience. I think that's fair to say.
I have nothing. Dude, and here's the thing. You know what's funny? I don't want to single anybody out, but there were people in I'll say Zeb's audience that like I didn't have beef with. Like we just disagreed about Nick, but like they like stopped calling in and just like messaged Zeb directly because they didn't want to interact with me. And I was like, I found this out later. I won't say who, and it's not Frank the Tank. But like there was some like a couple people, they were just like, I just don't want to talk to Josh. And I was like, that I heard this through Zeb, and I was like, I didn't know we had beef, bro. I thought it was just like, oh, I like Nick and you don't.
We're having our this is our sanctioned drama.
This is we're going girly, dude. The girl drama is seeping in, bro.
It is.
We're being infected.
The gossiping, if you will. No, I mean, but it's a real thing. I mean, we have to be honest about it. Like, there's a huge portion of people who follow me who all unsubscribed from NAV like very early on. I think by like the second or third Groyper report, I think the majority of anybody who watched me on my channel wasn't coming over to NAV, and it's like because there's some staunch disagreements there. But I think the one thing I will say this, and I love Todd Baker, I love Frank, I love all the guys. But isn't it funny? For me, this is my perspective. It's like they're always coming into my comment section attacking me. When's the last video I made about Frank or Todd or Zeb for that matter? Have I gone out and made a content piece attacking these people? It's like no. So it's like I'm just making. It's like it's like me. I like James Fishback, and they're like, I fucking hate you. I will do everything I can. I will find you. They turn into Darkseid from the DC universe. They're like, there will not be a universe you can escape to. It's like, dude, what did it turn into this? Like, I don't really get it. But it's like okay. Haters are just fans in disguise. It's fun.
This actually, it like sort of unrelated to like Zeb stuff. This is something I noticed somewhat recent. I mean, it's been going on. I'll get to the point here. Remember we talked about that dude on Groyper? Yeah, okay, chill out. It was a few weeks ago. His name's Todd Bennington or something. He was the dude. Remember I showed him to you. He does these clips. He kind of came up in the Virillium era. He's not super Ian Bynington. Do you remember him? He's kind of a soft-faced guy.
He I know his handle on X, Our Own Nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, him. Yeah. And he still does clips, and I still follow him. And I'm like, oh, okay, here's a guy who gets it. But then he just also hates Nick. Like has beef with Nick. And I'm like, I genuinely don't get it. And then there's this new guy. I don't know how new he is. I've seen him recently. Maybe you've seen him. He's big on Instagram. His name's Johnny Americani. And he is clearly like he's clearly like a brown guy, but he's like, he's based politics. He's like, oh, these stupid bitches talking about this woman case. And then he just starts crapping on Nick, calling him gay, calling him cat boy. And I'm like, what is this? Dude, like they're based on everything else and they just hate Nick.
Yeah, I don't know. We've gotten to the point where it's just like, I feel like it's just projection. Like I covered the Stu Peters thing today. Like Stu Peters this is how he reacts to him, Nick and Gavin McGinnis having their, they got clipped because they're reacting to Iron Man 2. It's like, so it's on compound censored. I don't know if you knew that or not. But that was the collab from Nick.
And Gavin McInnes?
No, Nick.
Oh, Nick and Gavin McInnes.
Yeah, Nick and Gavin McInnes are reacting. They're watching Iron Man 2, giving their thoughts over the movie. So Nick likes it. Gavin doesn't. So they're going back and forth on it. Stu Peters quotes one of the clips. I think it's from Fuentes Updates. And he was like, well, if I wanted to watch gay porn, it's free online. And I would just watch it there, or like something like that. And it's just like,
I don't get it.
Yeah, your first thought when you see Nick and Gavin is like, I would rather watch gay porn for free. Like, what is? I don't even. It's so he's trying to make the claim.
I don't even get the connection.
He's just trying to call them gay. but he's doing it in like the most vulgar,
Okay.
idiotic way possible. That like all it actually reads to anybody else who reads it is like, are you saying that you watch gay porn? Like, it's like the same reaction you just had. Like, what? Wait a minute. What? Wow. Pause. All right. It's like,
Yeah.
what is being said here? And I thought that was kind of funny, but it was just like, it was just nutty. It's like a crazy response, but you see it so often. Like Nick is fucking gay. We got to do it like real men. And it's like all the guys who fucking say that I watch as they get bitched by their wives. Shut the fuck up. If I see, dude, it's getting to a point where it's like, it's a guaranteed tell. If a guy calls Nick gay, he's married to a woman who bosses him around. It's like a 1-for-1 thing. It's honestly, it's getting crazy. It's becoming a bit of like its own heuristic. Kind of the same way when when Ian Carroll said, when Ian Carroll doubled down when Candace Owens said Ben and Nick are the same person. And Ian Carroll's like, well, if all these people are thinking this one thing, and it's like, do you think we had to go out and research to think that Candace and you and Jake Shields are fucking retarded? Like, I think the average person can like just make that up for themselves. They can come to that conclusion themselves. But it's just crazy what people use as heuristics as like bulletproof. But for me, it's like, I think there's another one forming, which is like, for whatever reason, these guys, like, I don't get that. It's like, I think the least gay person on the planet might actually be Nick. Now, to be fair, there's some things that he says, he crosses the line to joke. I get that. But to clean that against
But here's this is what I said to my boomer boss.
What's up,
and
Tate?
just like boomers in general, is like, they don't get, because you and me, we're roughly the same age. You're 30, I'm 28. Like, and this is what I said to my boomer boss. I say, you did not beat up the homos sufficiently. So then they spread in the school systems, and then we grew up with that. And that is like the smell test. Like, we adapted like a test, which is if you act gay around the homies, that means you're not gay.
Right.
If you're comfortable joking and
Right.
if you're like, if you're like okay with it, I mean, you know what I mean.
Right.
That's like the test, being sus with your friends.
You queer some boy.
Yeah.
You queer some boy.
You queer some boy.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
dude.
is like men are like,
go ahead.
men are much more like, they communicate much more through physical touch than I think many other elements. I think for most men, it's easier to communicate physical touch.
Mhm.
It's like, do you really want to, like, here, like, listen to me. Okay, I'm going to use an example, and I know many of you are gonna understand this. What is less gay? Example 1. Hey, honey, I know you were really having a really bad day, and I just wanted to let you know that, you have me. I'm your husband. I'm here to listen to all of your problems, and if there's anything I can do for you, honey, just go ahead and let me know. I know you're really strong. Okay. Example B. Wife having hard time. Husband walks up, places hand on shoulder, or gives her a hug. What's less gay? Both are conveying, I'm here to comfort you. Which one's less gay?
Which one's less gay?
Right. Which one's
I'd say
which
the
one's
hug.
just not gay?
The hug?
Right. Meaning, so therein, it's like, so men communicate through physical touch a lot more. So
Mhm.
carrying that same example, when a guy's like in the room and he smacks a dude in the ass, it's not in any way conveying, I want to have butt sex with you. It's conveying like, you piece of, you fuck wigga. Like, it's like, it's conveying something that's like not even really like, it's not there. And so it's to say, like, I think women look at that because the girls aren't going slapping each other silly, you stupid slut, bang, it's like that never happens. Because they don't communicate through touch. They communicate through verbal and, body language and things like that too. So it's always been wild that so many women come out and they like, wow, these guys touch each other's ass all the time. It's like, yeah, they're fucking straight as hell. Like that's like the telltale sign that they're straight as hell. Like, what are you talking about? Which goes back to what Foulball said, which is like all the miscues, like the sexes who can't read the body languages of each other.
Was it you? I was watching someone stream, and you were maybe it was, again. I don't remember if it was you or not. But they're talking about how like making gay jokes. You said it was Gavin McInnes, where he's like, one guy is like, oh, you're gay, And he was like, what? No. And then he came up later and he's like, by the way, I'm not gay. Like he came back to say it.
I don't remember
It's
this,
like-
but that sounds funny.
Got it. You know,
Yeah. It's like
clearly.
yeah, it's like now that sounds like you're unsure. Are you sure about that?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Are
about
you
that?
are you trying to convince me?
Right, yeah. No, it's like, yeah, it sounds like you're still not really clear about that. Maybe come back.
Yeah.
You know what? Go ahead and sleep on it. Come back
Yeah.
tomorrow.
You might want to hit the drawing board up.
Yeah, right. Okay. We went way too long without
This
a clip.
week on Groyper Report.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, it's 10:30. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, we started
We're an hour
late.
behind, so it's still, yeah.
Yeah, we got time. Yeah, newsflash, women are bitches and don't listen to them. And you're probably gay if you listen to women. And Candace Owens is a sick bitch. I think we covered all of it.
Yeah.
I think that was this week. That was this week. And women want a big rapist. So our advice to you, to men, is to be big rapists. Okay, that might not be.
Yeah, the advice is don't do it, but ride that line where they're not 100% sure.
Yeah. Women hate consent. Hate it. They hate consent. All right, I'm not trying to get us pulled off of air.
In Minecraft. Yeah.
yeah, on Minecraft. Okay, so I think a couple ones. So I definitely want to play Nick's clip from the Thursday show where he kind of just obliterated Candace Owens. But there's one I wanted to play from Wednesday, which is specific towards I thought Stephen Miller was one of the good ones. Because for one, it cracked me up. I thought it was hilarious. But it is Nick taking aim at the continual MAGA rationalizing of the situation that we're all in. And I thought it was really good kind of like strong attack on the people who have been, promoting Stephen Miller, which would be the Patrick Caseys, the John Doyles, the Captive Dreamers, that crowd, right? Maybe even 9mm SMG to a lesser degree, but that crowd of people who have been promoting Stephen Miller without realizing really what he's all been about. So that'll be the next clip we play. So here it is. This is from Wednesday.
I see people defending Stephen Miller. Do you know that Stephen Miller was one of the most vocal and biggest supporters of the war in Iran? Ask anybody if you know in the administration. Ask anybody. Stephen Miller was one of the biggest and most vocal and most hawkish supporters of the war in Iran. But wait a second. I thought Stephen Miller was one of the good ones. I thought Stephen Miller was one of those mythical good Jews, like the chess player, among others. I thought he was one of the good ones who's based. And we've got old videos of him from high school where he's racist. And he's autistically thinking about deportations only. Yeah, Stephen Miller was one of the biggest, most vocal, most hawkish supporters of the war in Iran. As the deputy chief of staff of the White House, as a strategic counsel to the president, yeah, he pushed us into the war. I wonder why. Could it be that Trump's ambassador to Israel married him to his Jewish wife a few years ago? His Jewish wife that goes on TV and says, I have Jewish children. How dare you say that? I wonder why that guy who the Israeli ambassador officiated his wedding to his proudly Jewish wife with their Jewish kids, I wonder why they are so concerned about a war in Iran and not mass deportations. Okay, this is the problem. This is the conceit.
One of those mythical Jews. I did that. Like I was hanging on those words like for a while after he said them. I thought it was just a great way in the framing here too. But it goes to show, like, so much of the news is predicated on what people omit. Much like John Doyle and Patrick Casey and the rest of them, their news really only makes sense so long as they are omitting all other relevant facts. Whereas I think Nick is the only person that addresses everything as is. And I think that's why so many people are always angry all the time, is because he's just addressing so many things head on for what they are. And you see a lot of people's politics are built on omitting just so much entirely. But I did want to make mention too, because Tick said something. He said Anthony's, as in Carmelo Anthony, his retrial was rejected, if you didn't see that yet.
I did.
And yeah, so For those who don't know, I talked about it a little bit on the kick stream earlier. Yeah, for Carmelo Anthony, and I don't remember the reasoning. I think some people were saying it was an ex-girlfriend. Some people were saying it was like some guy he wanted to fight. But it moved very strongly into premeditated because there was a slew of text messages where he was talking about, he wanted to be able to taste the knife on the blood. He was on the verge, and all these things that kind of speak to he was like premeditating his, doing
Violence.
something violent. Which makes sense why the retrial was eliminated. And I think it seemed to be people were saying he was like stalking his ex-girlfriend, which is like why he had the knife on him, like why he was like in this mood, because I guess his ex, like his girl was going and he couldn't acknowledge it. He couldn't take it, so he wanted to, he had to kill someone for it.
Say Joy Lane.
Yeah, right. Right. I wanted to throw it back to you though. Was there a clip that you wanted to play before we go to the Candace Owens one?
Kind of, oh man, put me on the spot here. I did not have one specifically. If you want to play the Candace Owens one, I can look for one.
Yes, I do want to play the Candace Owens one. And it is this one. Nick obliterates. There's really two of them. So Nick addresses the woman in general, which we can probably play that one too. But the one where he goes directly at Candace Owens, I think is probably the better one. That one got the more play anyways, on X at least. So we'll do that one first. This one came from Grimaldus, I think.
And as she says, obviously she's not guilty. It's big pharma. It's big pharma. Have you lost your fucking mind? I literally cannot even imagine. There are stories of mothers who will lift up a wreckage of a car to save their children trapped underneath. Women will die. Mothers will die for their children. They'll kill to avenge their murdered children. And this psycho holds down her 3 babies, strangles them to death. You're a mother yourself, you sick bitch. You're a mother yourself. What is wrong with you? And she says, obviously she's not guilty. It was big pharma. Candace, come back to reality. Come back to God. Come back to earth. What is the matter with you? Could you imagine, and I'm sure for some people, sadly, it doesn't even require any imagination. Imagine if you're a guy and your wife is on TikTok sympathizing with this sicko. And I've seen it. I've seen TikToks of women holding their own children in their arms and saying, we need justice for Lindsay Clancy. Imagine that's your wife. Imagine that's the mother of your children. If I had a family, if that was my wife, I would have her 5150 immediately. I would take the children and I'd bring them to my parents' house. And I'd say, you stay the fuck away from me and my kids and my family. Imagine your wife, the mother of your children, is on TikTok posting. And listen, I know on some level, maybe that's harmless. Women will do and say anything for attention, no matter how disgusting and vile it is. They'll post that to signal something socially, solidarity, empathy with women, But it's like, could you imagine? Your children are being held in the arms of their mother while she's filming herself on TikTok saying, I stand in solidarity with this other mother that murdered her 3 kids. How could there be any tolerance for something like this? And this is a moment when people of conscience, this is a moment when anybody that has any semblance of integrity and of a conscience has to stand up and call it out and say, this is wrong.
Now, I want to bring us in here for just a second because, for one, it's a little bit of a longer clip, but really to kind of go back specifically towards what I'd said at the beginning of this, which is to say that, like, I would not, as much as I find it to be an insane thing to think, I think there will be people who are like this, where they're going to say, I totally disagree with Candace Owens on her Lindsay Clancy take, but I agree with her take on Israel. And I think on the Charlie Kirk case, and I think that's an insane thing. I think it's a very insane thing, given the fact of, I think that to think as if she's thinking about these 2 cases, or analyzing them, because why would she not? Why would if Candace Owens has like this big rig investigation and the way that she has analyzed facts and the way that she views things, would it not be the most commonsensical thing to think that she's viewing the same thing for Charlie Kirk as she is viewing Lindsay Clancy? I think that's got to be a given, which I think points the finger directly at what really is the driving force and the glue to what is holding her opinions to the Charlie Kirk thing, to her view of the Charlie Kirk, assassination, the tragedy for what it is. And that's why I said earlier today, and I'll say it again, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be very jarring. And at least you would hope. Maybe those who are on the fence, it'll be jarring to hear her say this. Like, maybe you've been all the way on the Charlie Kirk assassination thing, and you're like, yeah, it seems to make a lot of sense. And then she says, Lindsay Clancy's clearly not guilty. I think that for many people, it should be a wake-up call. And I hope that it is. But I think that there's still going to be people who are going to be looking at that going, they're going to go, yeah, I disagree with her Lindsay Clancy thing, but I think she's still right about Israel. It's like, I don't think that you can hold both of those at the same time because they're both
Right.
cases. She's both arguing in defense of the defendant. And for what evidence does she have? It's almost like a one for one. It's like, it's identical. It's like thoughts and feelings. And her evidence is probably the same thing as like these TikTok things. I don't even know if she even talked about evidence or whatnot, but it's probably like, the way the husband sounds, the way that the husband talked to the nanny. It's like we're trying to find things for a conclusion that's just not there.
Well, yeah,
That's kind of my
it's the
thought
whole
about
like, this, yeah, like he texted like this.
Yeah.
This is what he said. Yeah, and like the tone conveys that like something's up, but it's like, yeah, and what?
Right.
It's this like woman's intuition thing.
Right. Exactly. And then all aided and helped with women, like more women intuition, more women joining in and adding into it, going, yeah, I thought that too. And since women are like these creatures of consensus, if a lot of women think that, it doesn't matter if there's a bunch of men who don't think that, because you already have a bunch of categorical issues that are divided on those lines, where it's like, we know we're in the right, but it's largely a lot of men who hold that opinion because it's about something negative that women don't want to accept. And so they defend themselves by, as long as they're all in agreement that those men just hate us. It's not a real criticism. They just hate women. That's why these men think like that. Then they can convince themselves that they're in the right as long as they have the consensus among themselves. I do hope though that this is, even for women too, I hope that like there's like I hope it shocks people out of like, wait, what the fuck did you just say? Because that was my reaction. Like I knew that she was probably going to cover the Lindsay Clancy stuff, but I mean like Nick is verbatim. Candace Owens says she's clearly not guilty. Like those words verbatim left Candace Owens's mouth. And she says, it's clearly big pharma, it's all these other things. And she's doing the same shit that Lila Rose has been doing, which is like, yeah, women who get abortions, like they're not bad, the abortion's bad. They're doing this whole like separating the sin from the sinner type thing. Doing and all things, all the rivers flow in the same direction. And that direction is that women are not accountable for any of the things that they do. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason. And someone coined this earlier, and I'm going to say this too. They coined the term and they called it Schrodinger's feminist. So are you familiar with Schrodinger's cat?
Of course, yeah.
So the concept, for those who don't know, and I'm sorry for repeating for those who watched the earlier stream.
Would you make us full screen real quick?
What, this? Oh, you want us to be full screen? Yeah.
Yeah. I think since
just
we're
can't
kind of
see
back
it.
in monologue mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So Schrodinger's cat is basically that, like, there's a cat in a box, right? Cat has been placed into a box. And, you from the observer, you just know someone told you there's a cat in a box. But the thing is you don't know if the cat is alive or dead, right? So the cat is both simultaneously alive and dead until you make that observation, you open the box, and then you can observe it is either alive or dead, and then it's one or the other. But so far as it remains in that box, and you have not been able to make that observation, it's both. Schrodinger's feminist, that's like women treat their lives the same way, which is that women are both super independent. They don't need no man. Women are boss girls and everything. But the moment that they need a man, now they need a husband. That strong man should have been there. He should have been holding her hand the entire way. Why did he not walk her up those steps? That's ridiculous. Wait, he wasn't in the waiting room the entire time. He left to get snacks at the vending machine. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, but they use it to their advantage. It's like explaining the mechanics of a woman, which is that they'll go either way depending on what suits their needs. Meaning that a woman is both a feminist and a not feminist until an event occurs. And whatever is the most convenient, they'll go with.
Yep.
So it's like, whoever said that earlier, I forget the name of the post who said that, but Schrodinger's feminist, I think it's a great analogy to make about this, which is a woman is both until you observe them, until you ask them, until something happens, and then they will decide which way on that fence they're going.
I like that, dude. It's like the white male mind is a particle, and all other minds are waves. Dude, they exist in superposition. They can be all things at once,
right?
And they just are.
Yeah,
it's like Oppenheimer. It's like it can't be, but it is.
Yeah, right. This should be impossible, but it's not. And yeah, Schrodinger's feminist. I might have to make an entire video about that. Like it struck me as being such a strong serving example that like it's very illustrative of like what the actual issue is, because I think the problem is like not even like that women are inherently like I think that's the most leading problem is not even that women are feminist or are not feminist. The problem is that they abuse the mechanic of being either or.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes a real problem, which is that the real problem is that they are manipulators. And because of the environment that we have, the social ecosystem that we have, they are basically incentivized to be the best manipulators possible. You go queen, you go girl. And either way it falls on there. They'll get praised either way. And I think that's the real problem, where it's like men can be nothing. Like no matter which way men can even be, you're always a problem. Yeah, exploitative. It's like they're taking advantage of no matter what they can, so they can be anything at any time, and everybody will bat their eyes and they saw nothing. She was always a feminist, or no, she's always wanted a husband. She's always, it's like it's whichever suits their needs the most in that moment of time. But yeah, any other thoughts? You want to keep going with the clip?
Keep going with that same clip.
Yeah, we got like another 4 minutes.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, you ready? Okay. There it is.
This is evil. Sometimes there are gray areas. Sometimes it's a tough call. This is not one of those times. This is as black and white as it gets. Mother holds down her 3 babies and strangles them to death, jumps out of a window, and you say, give this woman $1 million? She's the victim of the system. You're going to show up in solidarity with this person? You may believe clearly she's psychotic. That doesn't mean you sympathize with her. Or God forbid, rationalize her actions. Go out there wearing a t-shirt in support of her? Seriously? This is one of those times where you got to say, there's a line in the sand. You're on that other side. I want nothing to do with you. God have mercy on your soul, honestly. And you see that and you realize they've totally gone insane. Seriously. I saw that from Candace today. I said, how low can you go? I mean, seriously, how low can you stoop? I know a lot of people think it's a big game. Unfortunately, though, some people can't tell the difference. You see someone like Candace, and it's written all over her face. Glee, giddiness. You could see that the narcissistic supply of her show and the money and being the center of it, she feeds on it. It's written all over her face. She has no poker face. The self-satisfaction, the smugness. She's delighted with herself. The overflowing, how pleased she is with herself and what she's done. And for her, this is just a game. For her, she goes on the show and it's a performance. It's like Oprah. It's dramatic. Today, we're going to break the internet again. Oh, everyone's talking about me again. Oh, they made memes about my enemies again. Oh, it's so wonderful. But the people that watch can't tell the difference. These people in the comments, these are like psychic victims. And they're not blameless, but these people in the comments, they really believe in this shit. They really believe it's a multi-dimensional time-traveling conspiracy. They believe this woman is the victim of big pharma. It's the pharmaceutical companies made her do it. The conspiracy made her do it. The profiteering French Israeli Illuminists made her do it. And at the bottom of it is fundamentally a total lack of responsibility. Look, as an influencer, as someone that has influence, as a broadcaster, you really have one responsibility. That is to tell the truth.
And that was kind of the next portion of the clip that I wanted to play there. What I don't have clipped is he goes back again into like the audience a little bit as well, and I think this is maybe one of the biggest points I wanted to get across in terms of like, so we can kind of see and understand like the incentives and the disincentives for like why a commentator would be willing to stake their reputation and career on doing things like this, these ridiculous stunts as they are. But he goes and talks a little bit more about the audience, and I think it's a sad reality, but I do believe it to be very true. And I think that reality is a lot of these people are not exploring these conspiracies because they are so desperate to understand like why the world is the way that it is, because they want to know what is good, what is bad, what's the right thing to do, because they have a genuine curiosity towards, what makes the world spin, what should they actually be orienting their lives around. And I think it comes from a place of self protection. I think it is a lot of coping going on. I think people dive into these conspiracies and go down the rabbit hole because the conspiracies allows them to make sense of why their life is so miserable. And it's easier to point the finger at some nefarious, fictitious supervillain or evil bandit of globalist or crowd of whatever than it is to take responsibility and accountability for the fact that, you are the reason your life is very fucked up. And there's a lot of things that you have done or haven't done that have brought you to this point. And instead of acknowledging that for what it is, they go, actually, no, wait a minute. The reason why I can't get a girlfriend is because, the Jews, fucked up, big pharma and all that. And now, as much as there is some truth to that, they do utilize almost all of these conspiracies as explainers for why things aren't the way that they think they should be or what would make their lives better. It's because there's always this conspiratorial nature, like the world's out to get them. And it does remind me a little bit of like, so I have some people in my life who are, a little schizophrenic. And I say, when I mean a little, I mean that they are literally diagnosed. And that's kind of how they go around their lives, which is like, they couldn't, why, hey, Jim, like the dishes have been piling up. We've been telling you the last couple of days, man, you need to get your dishes cleaned up, because if you don't, these are one of the markers they have on the list that we're going to put you in assisted living, because you need to be able to show that you can clean your own dishes. They were waiting for me there. I knew I didn't put that dish in that sink. I'm afraid. And and so to me, it comes off as like these schizophrenics are like, why I can't do the dishes because like they might kill me at the kitchen sink with like this thing. And then it's just like, you're going like, holy fuck. Like, how can you even begin to engage in that? It's so removed from anything, tangible or realistic. And I sometimes just sit there and think like, I don't have the expertise to deal with this shit. Like, like we need an expert in here, dude. Someone bring like a therapist or something. But there's a lot of these kind of like tells, and I get these similar vibes from these people with these kind of delusions. And sometimes I even almost get the feeling that I don't even think that they themselves believe it. I think it's like they're almost just having fun. Like it's fun to play around in this world and get people to believe things. And I think there are some depraved people out there who like, you can't always judge people's motives and incentives by your own. Because I think that not every person is built the same way. And some people may actually get their rocks off by doing evil things like trolling and pranking and just being a manipulator. And it's hard to judge everybody else by your own same standards. And I think you can't do that. I think it's not a one for one to everybody. So I think that's kind of maybe the dark underside of this, which is like, why are so many conspiracies going viral? Well, I think it's because the Walmart class jumps headfirst into them, because it explains like, no, they're not fat losers. It's the world's against them. I think that's a big part of it. Go ahead.
When I was in high school, I called it Men in Black syndrome, where it's what it is it's like, you know, the scene in Men in Black where he like lays it all out for him. And then there's two guys in suits who know aliens are real and they've got all this elite knowledge, and they're sitting in a diner with a bunch of normal people. And by all accounts, it's just a bunch of regular people in the diner, but these two guys, they know what's up. And there's an appeal to that. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
like some people, the crushing weight of reality, most people flock to distractions. Normie, like normie, goy that kind of stuff. But then there's some people that like that's not satisfying.
Right.
And then in that category, there's two people. It's like when you actually get into the meat and bones of what the problems are, the crushing weight of reality becomes even more dense. And so those people flock to the easiest version of fixing the problem. Like you said, it's like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in Lucifer, the prince and principality of the air, prince over the earth. But it's like, I don't believe that like Satan has direct access to my thoughts. And like, whenever I'm tempted to do something bad, that is like a literal, I'm not saying there's not a spiritual war going on, but is it like there's a little gremlin in my brain, and it's like if God or an angel just like picked it out, then I'd snap out of it. You know what I mean? Or do I have free will? Do I have agency? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's the indirect influence of Satan is more real than the direct influence of Satan.
Yeah. So I had a good well, I always have a good show. That I had a I had a great one of the greatest sermons I've heard from Joel Webben. I know some people maybe don't like him, whatever. I don't really care. But he had a really great sermon. And that sermon was about what you had just laid out there, which is people attribute the same abilities of God to Satan.
Yes.
And that's not true. They treat Satan as if he is omnipresent, omnipotent, all-seeing, all-knowing. But that's not true, and we know it's not true. So this whole idea of like, he did that because, Satan was working on him. Oh, that person made that choice because like, Satan, Satan was really kind of, getting at him. And it's not to say that there's not, like what you said, like spiritual warfare. But
Right.
again, what is that doing? It's attributing once again accountability away from the person and saying that, well, had there not been this evil force in the world, like they wouldn't have done it. And it's like, well, yeah, but that same evil force is existent for everybody. And there is kind of an appeal, like what you had said, like the Men in Black, where it's like, oh, but they specifically chose that person because there's like something different about that one. That's why they had to go and get him. And there's like a bit of like that main character syndrome that goes on in there. But it is kind of, it's served as a very strong kind of lesson where you kind of sit there and you go, and I don't know if it was for me, but I guess maybe I didn't realize that, or I guess maybe the way that Webben kind of laid it out there, I really kind of sat there with it and I was like, holy fuck, like that's real. That's like one of the most real sermons I've heard in a long time, because it does then point the finger back at you and it goes, no, you chose to dishonor God. You chose to sin. You knew what the consequences were. You have a grasp of right and wrong, and you did it, not Satan. Satan didn't guide your hand. You did it. And the other idea too is like, well, if Satan is not omnipotent, he can't be all present, all places. You think bro's hanging out with you? No, bro's going back and forth between Trump and Netanyahu right now, trying to figure out the best thing that he can figure out and come up with. Like that's more than likely what the reality is. Yeah, he's in Jeremy from the Midwest's home. They're in Indiana. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And so I don't mean that to be like to make people feel bad. I say that to be like, I think that should be an acknowledgement of like, yeah, when you make bad decisions, you're responsible. There's not even in a partial way where you can say, well, there's this going on. It's the fall of man, right? That's almost like saying that, that every person sins. It's like they're getting in Eden moment. You know, it's like there's a physical serpent telling them to do what they're doing. And it's like, that's not how it goes on. It's a lot of people justifying things in their own head of themselves, making the justification for why they should be allowed to commit this thing despite, you know, it being wrong. It's like it's the person themselves, subconsciously or consciously, you know, justifying their own actions, rationalizing why they did that. And then you have two options. You either actually do honestly like regret what you did, or you continue to justify and are glad that you did what you did, and then you justify it, you know, from that point forward. But it was a great sermon, and I think it speaks to exactly what a lot of this is going on, which is like, no, people do make decisions in of themselves. We need to stop trying to find excuses for why people make these things and accept the reality that some people are simply and were not cut out for the first world, for civilization, for society, and thus this is why justice carries them to the direction they should be, which is to prison or otherwise. And when we have removed that, we've removed the mental institutions. Well, now all the lines are just blurred. Now it's just a blame game of like, who should really be blamed? And it's like, but it all reaches these terrible ends, which is like, Israel didn't kill Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson did. And all that what they're doing is going to serve so that nobody faces justice. On top of the fact that Hassan Piker and everybody from the left is already dancing on his grave. They're singing, you know, We Are Charlie Kirk as a fucking gimmick. Same thing stands to reason here with Lindsay Clancy. That woman deserves to get the most severe punishment known to man for what she did. And all this other bullshit serves to do is just take the accountability away from her, and then it gets directed to where? Yeah, the court's going to bring in big pharma. All right, your answer for your crimes here. Get the fuck out of here. That shit is so stupid. And it's just not helpful. It's not productive. It ultimately serves to do nothing but to help and aid evil.
Well, and it is kind of funny. This is something like when me and my boss on the show, we debate. You know, I advocate for a Christian dictatorship, and he advocates for whatever the founders wanted. You know, democracy and all that jazz.
Democracy.
Yeah, and I say like this, like, don't you see that there's a problem in the system where it's like when you have like COVID or just anything, for example, where like there was a huge mistake made. Pick your poison. Like it becomes this thing. It's like when the bureaucracy is so dense, it's like, well, this person is to blame. And then they say, well, I couldn't have done that unless I got approval from this person. And then that person says, well, that came down from the committee. And then it's like, to punish anyone, you have to punish everyone. And if we punished everyone, then there would be no system. And so it's just like nothing ever happens. And that has kind of trickled down into the way we think about things. Lindsay Clancy is not accountable for her actions because she had a doctor and the doctor gave her prescription drugs. And life is tough on women because I don't even know what they even say anymore, but you get the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just crazy because I think anybody with an objective hold or grasp on reality would be able to acknowledge that if there's no greater time to be a woman than modern day, and that's been that way for a long time. Just like we said earlier with like the Schrodinger's feminists, like they just, a lot of rules and laws and social contracts just don't apply to them because they're women. There is no male privilege. There is no white privilege. There is really no, I mean, I would even say at this point, I don't know if there's much of a racial privilege. There's more as like, I think the biggest privilege you can have is a female over male. I think you will ultimately be given many, many, many more unwritten privileges and rules as a woman than you will as a man. And I think anyone who denies that or goes out of the way, I mean, you know, I think if you were to even make any kind of argument towards that back, I guess maybe the only equalizer is the fact that men still reside with like they are the deciding factor, right? Which is like the law of power. And if you can overpower, you set the terms, right? So I think that's, I think maybe you could only make the argument in that way, which is the male's an equalizer. But yeah, you equalize, it's like, good luck going to prison. Like, so I don't even know how much of a privilege that really is. Like, sure, you can decide an event in and of an event then, now, whatever way you want to, but you're going to prison, or the system will decide how to handle you whichever way afterwards.
What's nice about the Lindsay Clancy thing is she is going to prison. Like these people, like, she's not getting off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll read this one from I don't reply back. He says, I think algorithms and social media is exacerbating or bringing out dormant apophenia. He says that means drawing connections and seeing synchronicities via seemingly unrelated events and information in people. And I would say that too. I mean, that's why I think that there is a social media element to this, right? That's like the connecting factor. Because otherwise, what you would only have without the social media bringing everything together, being the glue to this, in the most basic sense, would be like, yeah, when we would see that story, she'd go, huh, the husband looks weird. And then she put the paper down, and then people would move on. But what she does is instead now with social media, she goes, I learned this from Candace Owens. Something's amiss here. And she's like, maybe I should talk about this, records a video and says, I think this is weird. The husband looks like an asshole, just the way that he's looking to me. Another woman sees it and she goes, wow, I see the same thing, sister. Let me go ahead and share this to my group. And then from there, it blows up into the thing of what it is. And it's like, but it caught on 3 years and 7 months after the fact. So it's like, I don't think any real investigative work was being done. I think this is actually all a reaction to a reaction to a reaction to a reaction to a reaction, a massive chain reaction that blew up and is now another exhibit of female psychosis because of things like TikTok and Instagram.
Well, and it's funny, if you look at the husband, and not to knock a guy while he's down, I mean, what he went through was unbearable. I can't,
There ain't
but
nothing this woman ain't done to him yet, dude. Kick him, dog.
But that's the point, is it's like, you look at this dude and what they see is kind of a simp, most likely a beta male, like soy boy.
Right.
So they see that and they see the like malicious nice guy. What we would see is this is probably the only girl that he could get, is a psychotic roasty. And so it's like, of course, I'm not blaming the guy, but it's like this is what my boss said to me, and it is arcane wisdom, is no woman is better than the wrong woman. Would this guy be better off if he were still single to this day, or now he has 3 dead kids and he's in court with his paralyzed psycho bitch wife?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, like, we know how thick a woman can be, and I don't know if there's any kind of like other backstory to her that maybe you could say there's some red flags there, or what if she was one of these cases where it's like she just fucking stinks?
I get what you're saying, and I get it's like it's not some women, it's all women. But let's be real. There's it like hypergamy and strangling your kids are a little bit like
Right.
on different playing fields.
I agree with that, and I'm sure, like, without seeing anything, I'm sure that we could be able to find something that maybe happened or was said, or like a thing they did in their lives where she was like, I have to. We don't have sex until he gets his 7th good star. Like, I'm sure there's things you could find in there that would be like, okay, there was like some red flags ahead of that.
You know who I thought is funny? You know who I thought she'd kind of look like? AOC.
That's crazy. I don't think they look anything alike. That's
Oh,
crazy.
you don't have that facial recognition software update.
That bitch looks like a Jew, and AOC's like a Latina.
They got the same eyes, dude. They got those crazy eyes.
I did okay. I did whatever you say. I didn't see that at all. That's kind of funny. I will say, like, on a very real note, because I myself have children, and it's really just like one of those things that it's a hard thing to get out of my head, which is the reality that she did spend about 3 to 4 minutes each with all of her children, tying exercise bands around their neck. She started with the youngest, from what I believe she started with the youngest, the 8-month-old. Then she went to the daughter, and then for those who don't know, the oldest, the boy who is the oldest of them, tried running for as long as he could. And I mean this in the most specific way of like, it's there's no to me there's no like, oh, we just like, oh, fuck it, life sucks. To me, it's like, I think the reason that you are even here, the reason that you were even initiated the way you are, is because you're one of the very few men who has any amount of insight or ability to think at all. And if you are the one who can at least recognize the problem, I think it's a calling to you to do something about it. I think the recognition of evil is only a call for you to do something about it. I think recognizing and seeing evil is not an example to go, well, it's all fucking over. It's not been like tough on me, like, oh, I've been like dying, but like first reading about the story, dude, it was just like it was a struggle to just even like think and visualize and like walk through like what I'm thinking about this because it is such a disturbing thing. It's like I can't even like I my daughter's like literally through like a 3-inch wall of plaster on the other side. If someone even attempted or gotten close to doing anything like that to my children, I am sorry. I am flipping the fucking table, dude. And there's not, I don't know if I could hear reason after that. I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't know if I'd be able to hear reason. I don't know if my own father or my own mother would be able to get a hold of me. Like, there's just some things like that that is just like, it's so fucking beyond the pale that anything less than like severe and swift reaction to that is like, what a fucking disgrace. And I think for a lot of people, they are seeing that from the father perspective, which is like, dude, this is like, not only is it just fucking sickening, but it's angering to a level that is like it's beyond like our cortisol spiking. That's like a like I'm struggling to like stay attached to the floor type level of like just extreme like fucking sick and evil behavior. Which I think then that implies that if you're one of those men who can recognize it for what it is, I think that you are. That's a there you go. Like not do something about it, like go hunt her down. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
In Minecraft.
yeah, but yeah, but like gearing yourself against that, recognizing, look at the fucking scoreboard and see where we are. Recognize that and then act accordingly. Like that is maybe more so the message here, which is like, do not fucking tolerate this shit. Fight against it. We need more men fighting against it. Like the thing that they want, like they want you to lose, right? They want you to give up. They want you to pack it in. They want you to settle for the 4 who's an absolute fucking whale, and they want you to hate your life for every second you have, until you have no breaths left. And life is not long. Life is very short. I'm already halfway to dying. I've already lived about half of my life. You have very, very little in this life you can hang on to, but one of those things that you can hang on to is your dignity and who you are and who you choose to affect and how you choose to influence things. And if you choose to let go of that, then what even is the fucking point? You might as well. I mean, not have to break any rules on YouTube, but like you might as well go find a bridge then. I don't want to hear about you complaining and bitching. That just means it's one less guy helping me. I don't want to fucking hear about it. And I don't mean that to be rude, but I mean that to be like, this shit is real. This shit is serious. And maybe you don't feel this way, but I do feel, in at least the slightest bit, some level of responsibility for the men that come after me. Much like how our the guy a couple generations behind us really didn't give a shit. I feel the opposite. I feel like, in fact, we have a responsibility to course correct for all the things they allowed. Because I mean, because who could feel good about themselves, knowing and acknowledging that it's only getting worse, and we're just waiting for it to pop. Fuck that. How about we stop it? How about we do everything in our ability to stop that? At least that's how I feel.
No, absolutely, dude. And on that point, that is actually something I wanted to touch on. You had touched on it already. So, and I know we're at the 2-hour mark, but this is something I wanted to comment on briefly was Nick's comments about James Fishback's campaign.
Yeah.
And how it is the blueprint for everything going forward. And it's funny because I remember having conversations with Zeb, having conversations with other people, and about how long are we going to hide our power level? Like, when are we going to act? When are we going to, and they say like, well, Dan Bilzerian is doing something. Nick's just doing a talk show. This like to me, his speech and monologue about that was so fantastic because it really conveyed, it's like, yes, it is working. This is the blueprint. This is what needs to be done. And it got me in, like, he didn't say this explicitly, but this is the way I started thinking about it after listening to that clip. We have it, but you've already covered it. I don't know if we need to really replay it here, but we can't. I'll just say this real quick, which is, we talk about how the Jays, them boys, are playing the long game. We have this mindset on our side. The Wignats have this mindset. It's like, we need to do something before 2028. We need to do something as soon as possible. Do you think that's what they're thinking? Do you think if they're like, oh my God, like if we can just keep the Iran war going until 2028, history's over and we won. That's the finish line, guys. they think in terms of like decades and centuries. They are worried about exactly this. And it's like, think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. What would be more concerning to you if you were at the top, if you were in their position, losing the youth that is actively becoming Groypers and pursuing political office, the Groyper problem they have, or this vague violent revolution where it's like, you first.
Right.
Like even a violent revolution they could easily put down. I mean, look at January 6th.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
To me, the path forward is obvious. It's more obvious now than ever.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's probably a couple reasons for that. I think for one, I think if you've never, I said a little bit of this on Kick earlier, like if you don't, like if you're one of these people who views like America to be like on the precipice and like, it's going to break up in like, 10 years, well, of course you don't believe in any kind of long-term plan. Secondarily, I think the average person also doesn't believe in anything that they can't see with their own eyes. And so if you can't see something with your own eyes, if something can't be immediately proven to you, with a wave of a hand or a presentation or like in a 10-minute video, then it's not real. Which is to say, those who have not ever played by centuries cannot see in centuries. The same way that we can recognize and acknowledge that you do have these, you do have a lot of these black individuals and non-white individuals who clearly cannot, think very long term. They can't even, maintain bridges. It's not even a word in a dictionary for it. Well, I think this paints a strong example of like, well, yeah, they can't see it because they can't even acknowledge it. They have no capacity for it. And I think that same thing is true of like, if you're someone who's entertaining like a 10 to 15 to 25 year plan, people can't visualize that because they themselves don't think in anything beyond their daily life cycle of their ongoing days. I think a strong example of that is like the Ashen. They're like an alien race in Stargate. And that's how they took over all the planets. They didn't fight. They didn't fire a single bullet, but they started conquering all these different galaxies. And the reason being was because they, like, there's a line in there, and I'm butchering it too, but they're like, that's fine, we can wait. So like the guy's like mad. He finds out they've been doing this, and he's like, and we're gonna do this and this and this. And the guy literally, the Ashen, the alien, he looks back. He's like, that's fine. He's like, we have all the time we need. So like not even worried about what they're doing.
We'll wait you out.
Yeah, because they live in millennia. They do things like over a long period of time, and they took over cultures by sterilizing them, but they wouldn't know it until it was too late, because what the vaccine they did would double the lifespan of whatever race they gave it to. So like, who's going to pass that up? Only to realize the trade-off is that you're sterilized within a generation. And so nobody notices it at first, but then the kids who all come after them, it's too late to fix anything. And then all the ones who'd already given birth, who might have had ability to procreate, are dead, or they're old. And that's how the Hashem were dominating everything. And I do think there's some similarities there when you're looking at also like with the Jews as well, which is like, we're not even talking about their thought process from the 1940s until today. We're talking about a splintering and a continuing and an evolution of thought that's been happening for the last 3,000 years. Like this has been a thing for its same way as like when people say that people have worshipped Jesus Christ for as long as he's been around, for as long as creation's been around. There's been as many people who have been worshiping, demons and the devil and Satan for just as long. It's like there's two sides to this coin here that some people obviously don't think about a lot. But yeah, we're kind of way past the 2-hour mark. Do you want to add anything? Anything else you want to go to?
No, dude, I thought it was a great week, and I thought it was a good show.
Same. It's always a good show. It's always great, fantastic, perfect.
And I should have taken an energy drink before. Smelly's pointing out how I'm fading. It's not because this is not a Zeb audience moment. This is just, it's 11 p.m. and I'm used to going to bed at 7 because of my job. So
yeah,
cut me some slack, guys.
It's late, dude. I get it. Not every man's capable like I am. I've come to understand that in my time. I can recognize the standing. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish I could be unemployed, dude. I pray for unemployment.
You bastard. That's funny. I do a lot of remote work though, so yeah, I do benefit from not having to do the jobs back and forth. But I'm also in dad mode, so like sleep is like, I don't even know what that is anymore. I don't have much relationship with it. Like my relationship with sleep is like with the siren. Like every time I talk to it, every time I approach it, I think it's actually leading me somewhere I shouldn't be going. But with that though, yeah, everybody's been noticing your weight loss. I think you and Pine Sap are competing for Time Person of the Year right now, right?
I saw that you mentioned that. I haven't seen him recently at all. I got to check it out.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, there's a great angle, not anyone that he posted, but somebody posted one. They got a photo of him at church receiving communion, and he looks really good in that one, but I wouldn't be able to point you in that direction. Just saw it on the timeline. I thought it was, I was like, damn, he's really cut out, especially compared to where he was on the Jubilee appearance. He's got to have lost an extreme amount of weight. So shout out to Pine Sap, one of the greats, one of the goats, one of the top dogs. But yeah, I feel like I was going to say something else. I can't remember. So let that be that.
Let it be.
Yeah, and it's like 11:30 right now. I might come back and stream on Kick a little bit, but I don't know if I'm going to do the scary games. I just don't think I'm going to have enough time. And part of that's because we were an hour later than what we typically did. So I might come back on Kick afterwards. We'll see. I need to go check with the wife and the kid first too. But great show. Appreciate you guys as always. Groyper Report, another edition, another Saturday, absolutely ramped up and sold and given to you by two of the best, two of the brownest guys you know.
Whoa, speak for yourself.
That's funny. That's funny. But Christ is King, as always has been. And Josh, any final words?
Hey, I love you guys. I love Smelly Boy. Wow. Smelly Boy. Yo.
Man.
Yo.
Self-report?
Yeah. Well, that's all I have to say. I love you, Smelly Balls. AtlasThugged, keep carrying us on your shoulders. Christ is King. Can't wait. Oh, I won't be here next week, but I can't wait for the next GR.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so you heard it here first. Probably no Groyper Report next week unless I can get a fill-in with somebody. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated both on X and on Discord. But man, without further ado, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Be strong men, be Christian men, be the white man that overcomes that we were born to be. Find your destiny, remember who you are, and never forget it. Till next time, we'll see you guys. Take care. Have a good night. We'll see you.
Where do you stand politically? Give us your political ideology.
Okay, I can say anything I want.
Yeah, bro. Say where yeah.
I don't know, the day-to-day stuff, I'm like, yeah, more bullshit. Another white girl got stabbed to death? Of course she did. What do you expect? For my politics, I just watch America First with Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
I consider myself a Groyper. Sometimes I just wait to hear Nick's take to make sure I have the right take before I make videos, you know? So, yeah, I just go with what Nick says. I just defer all my political opinions to Nick Fuentes at this point. I'm America First. I wish that we had white Christian men running the country. It's unbelievable to me that we have a government that has a policy other than America First. How does that make any sense? We pay taxes, like, use our taxes to benefit the country that we live in.